I want. Oh shit! I'm about to hiccup. Hold up. You
Still
got it.
still a W host. Still a W host. We
Yeah, yeah.
start on
Go.
time. What is the title of this video? Old media lies about older players. We're on episode 8 already. That's crazy. Okay, I did not know we've been doing this. This is the 8th time we've done this. That doesn't.
This,
That's
this
crazy.
can't. This can't be the 8th time we've done this. We did this for 8 weeks already.
Well, technically 9 because we missed last week. But
Mm-hmm.
so the show's been out for this is the 9th week, which is kind of crazy.
Bro, we've been doing. Damn, time fucking flies, right?
Yeah, I didn't know. I did not know that we've been doing this for that long.
Yeah, that is insane, bro. That's crazy. That's dope though. You feel me? Time flies, and when you're having fun, you know.
Yeah, that is elite. That is elite.
That is elite. I wish I had a soundboard. But yeah, the title of the video was actually gonna be a Kobe agenda. But Mars, I heard one of the worst things I've ever heard in my fucking life last night, bro. And it got me so irritated, right? So I don't know if you know, I run a coffee shop and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And me and my friend run it together. And um, last night I was prepping for the next day. As I'm prepping for the next day, I couldn't watch football because I ain't got football on my phone. So I couldn't watch any like the Detroit and Mavericks game. So I said, fuck it. I'm gonna watch Fluent and Chill was on. I just watched Fluent and Chill. Yo, this man Fluent said that Magic Johnson in today's day wouldn't be a point guard. He would be a point center. Meaning he would play the center position, but be more like a point guard. And when I heard that, and the whole time, right? Gabe's in the chat. Fucking love Gabe. I'm texting, I'm chatting it up with him, talk about how Miami's gonna, you feel me, what roads we need to take to improve, da 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 da. Then the Magic Johnson talk and Stephen Curry debate caught my attention. I'm listening to this. When I heard that point center thing, I swear to God, Mars, I stopped listening. I stopped listening. I just turned my fucking phone off. I couldn't hear anymore, bro. Magic Johnson isn't that bad of a defender. He's not. He's good. He's not terrible. Yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, bro? Oh my, yo, Mars, I was livid, bro.
Yeah,
Livid.
I don't even know how to try and defend that.
Like
There's there's no way. Literally
none.
no way.
None, bro. There's no way that you could sit here and believe in your right mind that, oh my God, Magic Johnson could run center in today's day.
But let them tell it. We didn't watch them live, so we have no idea. So
Yeah,
we have to believe them. Magic Johnson could play the 5. Totally.
and I hate that fucking shit. I hate that shit. Oh, I watched them when they were going up, so my point's more valid. No, no. If and I said in the chat, I said, bro, if if LeBron James cannot run center in today's league, what the fuck makes you think that Magic Johnson could do it? No, seriously, Mars.
I don't know. Magic Johnson like 6'9", 220. Couldn't protect the rim to save his life. Average rebounder. Um, slow feet. Yeah, I point forward, cool. Like everyone can agree, point forward, that's fine. Point center is ridiculous. Like it doesn't even make sense at all.
Son, it doesn't. And I really wanted this show to be about Kobe, but when I heard that, these these old these old fucks be lying about these old players, bro. I promise y'all, bro. They really be lying about these old players. I'm tired of doing this air taxing BS. I'm so tired of it, bro. When we really look down at this tape, the tape of the old players, I'm serious. Like if we stop being respectful and just look at air and don't even conclude air attacks, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was mainly using his right hand for all those sky hooks. I
Oh no.
promise you. I promise you. It was straight the right hand, occasional left,
Yeah,
then right.
the left definitely wasn't as good as the right.
The
I'll say
left
that.
was the left was
He
and
used it, but it definitely wasn't as good. It wasn't as refined at all.
that's what it like, bro. When we stop really being respectful towards the older generation, just call it for what it is. I swear to God, bro, that 70s and maybe 80s is not all that. We're talking about skill set wise and ambidextrous and stuff like. It's not all there. I'm serious, bro. And that thing gets me so mad. Like it gets me so mad when we just lie about shit. I don't like lying about shit. If we wasn't being respectful, right? If we wasn't being respectful for the older generation, we might not have these guys top 10. I'm so serious. I don't care. I don't care. I don't. We might not have these guys top 10, but out of respect, we put these guys there for error taxing purposes. But god damn, bro.
I don't mind Kareem, like, because I'm one of those guys. I'm not really an air attacks person. I'm not gonna be like you played against plumbers, whatever. But I do struggle with like the sixth. I struggle if you played before the 3 point line is weird because if you played before the 3 point line, the game is different. And it's hard to compare that to what we have even in the 90s. It's hard to compare because the game was so different. So I tend to just leave those guys out, but then I leave them out, and then you get the old people saying I'm disrespecting them, and I just don't want to compare the games. So then when I do include them, and the game is so different, it's kind of hard for me to explain why I have some of those guys so high because the game was so different. But then, for example, I was watching 60 Celtics literally today, like maybe a few hours ago. The game was so like, did you know that every time you got fouled, like just a regular, like say you got a reaching foul in an offensive possession, you got a free throw for that every single time.
For a reach and foul?
Every foul on offense was a free throw, no matter what.
When was that?
That the series I was watching was like 1963. I was watching.
I don't
So
watch. I don't watch. I don't
yeah,
watch
so
the
I was
60s.
watching that. I was like, okay, so that would explain a lot higher free throw attempts, more points. That would explain that because that's kind of crazy to me. Then I was looking, I think 1981 or 82 was the year where it stopped being if you were in the bonus or you got fouled. If you got fouled on a 2 point shot, you got three free throws to make two. That's how it used to be. So players were getting three opportunities to make two free throws, whereas now we have two free throws to make two. Or if you got an and one, you'd have two free throws to make one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at all this stuff. I'm like, I can't compare that to today's game.
Mm-hmm.
The game was so different. The rules were so different. I can acknowledge the game was different and I can respect what they did. But then if you're asking me to compare Wilt Chamberlain to Nikola Jokic in today's game, how? Like, there's no way you can watch Wilt Chamberlain. Yes, he was athletic. Yes, he ran very fast. Yes, he jumped very high. You can't watch that and tell me that works in today's NBA. It doesn't. I didn't want to do that in the debate I had against Ticket and be like, oh, guess what? Evolution, blah, blah, blah. So I spoke about their games. And then people want to tell me that I didn't do my research. I don't know what I'm talking about. Because they say Wilt Chamberlain led the league in assists. But all you have to do, little basketball reference, he never led the league in assists per game. Not once. The year they're saying he averaged 8.6. Oscar Robertson averaged 9.3. So what they're doing is they're saying he led the league in total assists, which is a number no one ever uses. No one talks about Trae Young led the league in total assists last year. You know why? Because no one ever uses totals. But when it's Wilt Chamberlain, that's what they want to do. They want to tell me I don't know anything. I didn't watch the games. But everything they tell me about Wilt Chamberlain is stuff that all you have to do is look on Basketball Reference and see it for yourself. That's what they have to do. They'll be like, Wilt Chamberlain was a great passer. Oh, why was he a great passer? Enlighten me on his game. Oh, he averaged the most assists in the NBA that one time. Mm-hmm. You didn't tell me he was a great passer. You told me he averaged the most assists. So you're not telling me about his game. Then I say Wilt Chamberlain isn't close to Jokic on offense. Well, he averaged 50 points a game that time. You're not telling me anything. You're just telling me his numbers, then telling me I didn't watch the games. Neither did you. You just read the stats on the Basketball Reference page. So how are you going to tell me I don't watch the games when most of my opinions come from what I've seen of these players? Anyone can say Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 points a game. That doesn't tell me how he got those 50 points. That doesn't tell me that he was the most ball dominant player in the NBA by a mile. That doesn't tell me that his team's offenses were actually very mid for a very long time because of how ball dominant he was. That doesn't tell me that he wasn't getting his teammates involved at the same time as averaging those 50 points a game. You want to tell me he averaged 25 rebounds? That doesn't tell me they were playing 130 possessions a game. It doesn't tell me that. But guess what? You're the ones going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about when all you're doing is reading Basketball Reference. It's just crazy. Like, even if you look at the old guys, that I'm not going to say Fluent and Chilwell, for example, but a lot of the things they talk about with the older eras, anyone who can look at Basketball Reference will say the same things. And like, it doesn't. You don't have to watch them to make the same takes they're making. The things I'll say, a lot of the older people that I will like give credit to, there's a lot of backstories to like games, or like they'll have little inside stories that were probably news at the time that I would never know because I wasn't around. I wouldn't remember what the news headline was or what was being spoken about, trade rumors or minor injuries, unless the commentator mentions it in the game. So those little things, that's fine. I'll concede that. If you guys know about that, that's fine. But when you start talking about their games and then you start telling me, oh, he averaged this many assists or he has this many MVPs, I didn't need to watch the game to make the same takes you're making.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, the takes I make come from me watching the game, and I just view it differently to how you're viewing it with your 40-year-old memory. But let the old people tell it, and I'm just making stuff up.
I feel you on that. And a lot of times, what people who grew up watching that era, Fluent mentioned this when we talked about Kareem. There's certain biases you have and things that you miss, but there's also biases that the older generation has towards those people as well.
Nostalgia's crazy.
The nostalgia is ridiculous. The nostalgia is ridiculous, and when we separate those players from the nostalgia of it, and really see them for who they are, it's not really that crazy. You mentioned Wilt Chamberlain in the '60s. I didn't watch a lot of '60 games. I'm not going to cap like I did, but I knew for a fact that they called a lot of ticky-tack fouls in the '60s.
Oh, 100%. There was
Tons
not
of it.
when people say that era was tough, no. The 70s wasn't tough either. Those eras were ridiculous with the amount of fouls that were being called.
Ticky-tack fouls. I'm talking about if you reach in wrong, they're gonna call a fucking foul.
It's
and
crazy.
I know that. I didn't watch a lot of these '60s games, but I know that for a fact. And like you said, the pace of play as well. Wilt Chamberlain having 50, six assists or whatever, and 20-something rebounds. That is something we will never see again. And it's not because of how great Wilt Chamberlain is. It's because of, like you said, the amount of possessions they had in those games was insane. Which is why I say I cannot sit here and just watch full games of '60s basketball, because it's literally this, Mars. That's all it is. They're just going back and forth the whole fucking game, bro. Just running. They're just running, bro. So I'm sorry, bro. Like, when you sit here and have these takes about these older players, and when we provide context, all right, well, we'll score 50 points and he scored 100 and he did this, and then we say, well, they're playing at a high pace, which allowed him to do that. Oh, you're being disrespectful for putting context into that. How are we being disrespectful? We're telling you why he scored 50. What's disrespectful about that?
Yeah, I don't, because if you look at like the highest scoring season Wilt had, it was the 62 year. He averaged 50. If you adjust those numbers for like pace and the amount of possessions, he's still a great scorer in that year. But it's Joel Embiid numbers. That's what he's putting up. Joel Embiid scoring numbers, Joel Embiid level efficiency. Joel Embiid is one of the best scorers we have in the NBA today. But don't go and tell me he's one of the best scorers ever because he averaged 50 points a game. And all you have to do is simply adjust that down. He's not Michael Jordan. He's not Kobe Bryant. He's not those guys. He's a Joel Embiid level scorer, a great scorer, for about 34, something like that. That's what he was averaging. And that's in his best year. That's not career averages. That's in his best year. It usually was around like 27, 29. And then he averaged 34 that year. So for me, like, it's like, all you have to do is just apply some context to these numbers. And then you'll realize, like, even Bill Russell was like 18 points a game. You adjust that down, he's like 11 points a game. It's like when people talk about Bill Russell being a bad scorer, like, he's a bad scorer. You don't tell me he averaged 18 points. He averaged 20 in the playoffs this one time. Never. And if you look at Wilt Chamberlain in the playoffs, the scoring got even worse. Never was he even close to like 30 in the playoffs. Never. Like, just in terms of like adjusting those numbers for inflation. Like, the year he averaged 50 down to like Joel Embiid numbers, he was like 24 points a game in the playoffs if you adjust it now.
I did the same thing with Kareem in the Hakeem debate. When I adjusted Kareem's numbers to per 100 possessions, it went all the way down to similar numbers to what Hakeem Olajuwon produced when I did it to per 100. And that's because the amount of possessions, bro. Like, people underrate how much the amount of possessions can really inflate people's stats. Like, it really can.
Yeah, like even OG the Beast in his debate with Lowe was talking about Tim Duncan averaging 18 and 10. Like, I think it was 06. But all you have to do is look at the Spurs, look at the era they were playing in, that mid 2000s. The pace wasn't very high. And if you remember those Spurs teams, and if you were alive to see them, you should know this, they were one of the slowest teams in the league. So Tim Duncan on one of the slowest teams in the league, in one of the slowest eras in NBA history, averaging 18 and 10, like,
That's great.
It doesn't take a genius to figure out if he played in a modern game with higher pace, those numbers aren't going to look that low. Like 18 points isn't like 18 points in the 70s is not equal to 18 points in the 2000s because the amount of possessions people were playing is so substantially different that they're going to be worth different amounts. Like Tim Duncan in that 06 season that he was talking about was like 23 points per 75 possessions if you adjust that to today's pace. And in the playoffs, he was like 30 points a game. If you adjust those numbers. So I don't get like
Kobe was 40.
Yeah,
Kobe was 40.
anyone can look at a box score and make these claims, and just because you're alive when those things were happening, all of a sudden that makes your take more valid. When I could do the exact same thing. All these people who say I don't know what I'm talking about, I could say the exact same words they say, and they'll be like, "Oh, you know what, Mars now he knows ball." And you know what I do? Read Basketball Reference. That's all you have to do to know ball to these guys. It's not anything substantial. Anyone could do it. So,
I love it. I love it, Mars. We're gonna start bringing you guys in here. Sorry, me and Mars had to get on a little soliloquy, but we just had to set the stage for the lies that the older generation sets out for people, bro. It's really disgusting, bro. It's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my fucking life. I swear to God. But we're gonna start bringing guys in here. We got Ace 30, Gabe, Iman. What's good, Iman?
What's good, dog?
Sharad, is that how I say your name?
Yeah.
Sharad? Perfect.
Damn, you got it right on the first try.
God, I knew a couple people with the name Sharad, so I
grew up. People's like Sherrod. I'm like, no, not
gotcha. I should have been a teacher, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your guys' takes on what we just said for the last 15 minutes? What's your guys' stances, and how do you guys feel about everything we've been talking about?
Fucking bonkers.
Okay. I think it's extremely one-sided. Be honest with you, Doug, we had the conversation earlier, like a few weeks back, and it goes both ways because we're around the same age, you and I, and like I have no fucking nostalgia. I never saw any of them old niggas play, but you do have to respect what they've done in that era. Like I'm not going to discount an era because the conditions not to my preference. Like it's like I'm not going to like. And tomorrow's point too, like when you adjust for those pace, I did a few of those calculations myself, and the problem with every single one of those formulas have is the fact that they don't interpret the rules that made the pace that slowed down or that made the pace that sped up. And so it's more so a hypothetical portrayalment of a player's production than opposed to observatory. But in general, like I personally, the way you supposed to rate in players is how they dominate in comparison to their contemporaries of their era and compare their production and compare the production for that era. Like it's always going to be, no stat is going to be 1-to-1, especially in different eras. 30 years from now, when they get the 4-point line within the game, people are going to be saying a guy like Devontae Reeves, a hypothetical player, who is the greatest shooter ever because he had the most score-point shots. No, it just means he made the most score-point shots. I do believe you have had context to the numbers, but you don't have to denigrate players due to yesteryear, due to conditions they played under.
So it's not about. So like I said before, it's not about just completely downgrading what they did, but it's just like you said before, having an understanding on why things happen. Like I said before, if I really wanted to be nasty, I could sit here and say that these guys aren't really like that. But me and Mars, what we do is we do have respect for these guys, and we do have an era text, and we do have some sort of respect, which is why guys like Kareem and Magic Johnson, Larry Bird are still in our top 10s because we do hold that level of respect. But to sit here and just blindly follow all of these stats and these numbers to validate those numbers on why player A is better than player B is something that we just don't understand. I mean, I don't agree with, because I think understanding why all of those happen, all of those things happen, is of extreme importance. You feel what I'm saying?
No, I just said that. My thing is, and I'm gonna say this before I pass the next. I'm just saying this, Doug. We can't be like have an error tax. So just because you don't prefer that style of play, you can't denigrate the greatness of other players.
Shit, I'm gonna do it. They suck.
No, we'll talk.
I don't care, bro. They suck.
It don't fucking matter.
Bro,
it doesn't matter.
You got people on the stage you all 4 feet in front of them, bro. That's not good. That's not skill, bro.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You can have the numbers. You can have all the numbers you want, bro. Skill wise, they suck. 7th graders.
It doesn't matter.
No.
We kind of lost.
It depends on what you guys rank.
They suck.
No.
They suck. They said it earlier. Kareem was just right hook. Right hook.
If-
His
I'm
left
not
And
gonna
he was
lie,
lying about that.
look,
And that's
Oh, that's
and he was
right.
lying about that.
That was not good.
No, actually,
No,
actually,
Fluent said that Magic Johnson
no,
based
don't
on
listen to
his
Dub.
game is a
Dub watch
lie.
one Kareem game. Dub watch one Kareem game, one highlight, and take that
It's a
shit.
lie.
Don't listen to
It's a
Dub,
lie.
my nigga. Don't listen to Dub.
I
Dub,
said it
we're talking
wasn't
about
as
Mars was laughing.
refined. I said it wasn't as
Exactly.
refined. He
That's what I said,
used
though.
his
What
left.
Mars-
It just
I
Mars-
wasn't as
yo,
refined.
Mars-
It was just right
That's
hand.
what
Mars.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
his
what
right,
I'm
his
saying.
right, his right was
Yo,
elite. His left hook was not.
They
His
suck.
left hook was not great.
They
That's
can't
what
hoop
I'm
today,
saying.
bro.
He's 30.
I
What
like,
we
you know what's
doing?
funny?
You can
It's
have all
funny
the
because
respect you
Mars-
want, bro. The truth of the matter is they suck. They all suck.
Oh,
The
so
general
you must be-
consensus-
wait, let me ask you
General
something.
consensus of players compared to now, bro, it's like night and day, bro.
Let me
You can
That's
tell
your
Kuzma
opinion.
in the 60s
You
is the
must be
greatest player of all
SSJ
time.
Gabe, right? You SSJ Gabe, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to hear this from you. So you saying, what do you think is the cutoff for players that suck? Because you said they all suck. So let me ask you, what are you counting backwards? Like from what point backwards do they just suck?
Like the 70s down, I guess.
Nah, but that doesn't make
Okay.
sense because all these players' eras merged. Like Kareem went against Wilt, and then
But I'm talking
Kareem
about
went
like the
against
general
Stanley.
consensus, bro. You can have
Okay,
respect for the greats of that era.
Kareem went against Wilt for like
Yo,
3
hey,
years.
Sturdy, do you
No, I
want me
know,
to
but it
put?
continues
Do
into
you want me
other
to
eras.
put?
Like, there's
Do you want me to
people
put
saying that
Kareem's
MJ
highlight
is
tape
overrated.
on?
Yeah, you
Tell
can
how
say
many-
you can
bro,
say
that's
the
wrong.
best guys
Wait,
from
wait,
every
wait.
era
No,
can
hey,
transcend
Sturdy,
into
do you
the
want me to
next.
put?
Not
This is
everyone.
Kareem's highlight tape. Do you
Jesus
want to count
Christ,
how many
bro.
right-handed plays he has in his highlight reel?
But they
You wanna
weren't.
see?
Hey, number one, it doesn't matter because he still was productive. Number two, and Mars know this shit too. And I love how Mars just letting this shit rock. It's the fact that you know for a fact Kareem's the highlight you gonna pull up is from Kareem's when he's past his prime towards the end of his prime. Everyone knows Kareem's peak was at
This
the
is
beginning of
Bucks.
his career.
This is Bucks. I have it right here. I'm
No,
watching
what?
it.
No, the majority of the games that's on YouTube or more accessible
It
are
says
from the late Bucks years.
1969. It says 1969 through 1975.
No, I agree. There's highlights of it, Dub. But like for you to say he's only right hand dominant, it doesn't matter. Just how Mars. Hold on. Just how Mars pointed out, Zion can't go right to save his life. But the fact that no one can stop him going left, it still don't stop him from being one of the most efficient scorers in the league. What the fuck does it matter?
Don't get me wrong. I understand what you're coming from.
It's the same
but
thing for
this is-
Shaq.
But this is
Shaq
the
don't have no
context.
left hook.
This is the con, and this is why I said when I'm not being nasty, I would have that certain type of respect. Of I'm not gonna be nasty today. I'm gonna give Kareem the benefit of the doubt because at the end of the day, he did what he did. But if I'm going to be brutally honest, I'm talking about brutally honest, just being real. This is what he showed me for his career. And I highly doubt that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if I'm being brutally honest, a guy that's not able to go on both right and left dominantly would have the same type of success in today's league. If I'm going to be brutally honest.
Dub, I literally just gave you two players that's extremely dominant scoring. One that's playing today, another one is the most dominant player in the modern
That's
era.
fine. We're not gonna
What
change
you just
it.
said? What
said
you?
Shaq
I
and
just said
Zion.
Shaq. No, I just said Shaq who had no left hook, right, Mars? And I said Zion who can't go right to save his life.
Nah, Shaq is different. And don't bring up Zion, please. But Shaq,
No,
Shaquille
wait.
O'Neal,
Oh,
Shaquille
who's
O'Neal
stopping-
is not.
Yes.
Shaquille O'Neal is not
Oh,
as
no.
dominant.
Come
Wait,
on,
wait.
man.
Kareem
Not
is not as.
Zion.
Kareem is not as dominant or as strong as Shaquille O'Neal. And that's why
I didn't say that.
Bro.
What I said was it negates your point is if a player can't stop you from going right, it doesn't mean you can't be productive or dominant.
And
Shaq did not have no left hook.
And my reasoning.
Shaq literally only had three moves.
And my reasoning for Shaquille O'Neal, the reason he could get away with that because of how much physical capabilities he's had is that nobody could stop him. I don't think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar falls under that same category.
So
Right?
a guy with a 7'2" center with impeccable balance and who had the durability to last over 20 years and it literally invented the most unstoppable shot. Don't have the skill or capability to
Was he
still be
moving
productive?
people? Was he moving people out the way Shaq was?
No.
Dub, he
Hell
doesn't
no.
have to.
Hell,
He didn't have to.
No. But this is what you're doing. You're comparing Shaquille O'Neal and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I'm saying, and what you're saying that Shaq was able to dominate without using the left hook, and I'm saying he was able to get away with that because of his physical dominance that he had over everybody. I don't think Kareem could do that, has that same luxury because he doesn't have the same type of physical dominance as Shaquille O'Neal.
Yo, let me say this.
So Dub, why was Dirk in league score, Dub? Did he move players out the way?
Green. Because
Dirk,
Kareem
why was Dirk in league score? Did he just move
Dirk has
players
an
out the way?
infinite bag, bro. He's a skillful player.
Yeah, he's
Dirk has an infinite
Dirk
bag.
is a skillful. Yes. What?
Infinite bag, nigga.
Oh
That's
my
how you describe
God,
Dirk's
bro.
game.
Dirk's post game is like, bro. Oh my God, it's people like you.
Dirk's
that,
not skilled.
What?
What?
I didn't say Dirk was
Infinite
skilled.
bag
He
is a
said
stretch.
infinite bag.
Infinite
It's
bag
a
is a
stretch, bro.
infinite bag.
He's a
What is
skillful
infinite bag,
player,
bro?
bro. What are you talking about?
And Kareem wasn't.
Compared to Dirk?
All right. Listen.
Yo!
All right, bro.
Yo!
All right, bro.
Yo!
My thing is, I love. No. My thing is, I love.
Versatility. I'd have to take Dirk, man.
Because he's
He
so
was just more
fascinated by
skills,
Kareem's numbers, bro. It's
He was just
skills,
more
bro.
versatile.
What are
I'm
you
not,
talking
nigga.
about?
No, I actually watched at least 40 of Kareem's games
And I
during his
bet you
prime.
bored as
I
fuck
at least watch.
watching Kareem
I at least
Abdul-Jabbar,
watch
this whole time.
majority.
The whole
I at least
time.
watch majority of
The whole
Kareem
time.
playoff
You
games.
got Dirk in the
I'm
post.
not no.
Like, bro, what are you talking
Okay, I do think you guys are being a bit disrespectful to Kareem at this point.
That's all. I love.
fine, bro. We're being
He-
brutally honest. That's fine.
Like
No,
all
he
I'm
did.
saying,
Ignorant.
is the
That's
raw
fine.
averages are a bit disingenuous, but
But,
Kareem is still
you
great.
gotta take this into context. Kareem was, when you say physically dominant, he was physically dominant at a point. But remember, they changed the rules because he was so physically dominant. So that skyhook that he had to develop, he developed that like, all right, y'all ain't gonna let me dunk. Here we go. It don't matter that it was just one move. It don't matter if it was just the right hand. The fact of the matter is it worked. That skyhook, man, got the most points in NBA history. You gotta respect that.
That's fine. I have respect for it, but we're not talking about having respect. We're talking about skills.
Yeah,
I still think Kareem.
Try
is
that
pretty
move.
skilled. I think it's
Try
pretty
that.
skilled.
Try that move.
But
Real
you
talk.
say he's not
Try to
skilled
do that
because
move.
He went with one move. If the one move is working, why not keep going to it?
That's fine, but you guys are moving the goalposts, bro. He has one one move in his bag against somebody
I
else.
mean,
that has
Dirk went to that one-legged fadeaway quite a lot
That's a
towards the
fact.
end of his
He
prime.
wasn't doing
That's
the
a
one
fact.
legged fade. What was he doing? He was spinning
No,
off you,
but
going
that's not.
left hand.
Yeah,
right
but
hand.
now,
also had fadeaway.
now we're gonna act like Kareem didn't have fades. He didn't have drop steps.
Exactly,
He wasn't
like,
able to
yeah.
finish around the rim.
Yo,
He still had those things in his bag,
He did.
and he was 7'2", moving that gracefully. That's what makes
Dub,
Kareem
I'm
such
just
a
I'm
freak.
just saying all this to let you know, Dub. We're about the same age. It's not one-sided with the old dudes. When you do your due diligence, you see why these guys are great. I agree with Dave. In terms of the collection of talent overall, of course the talent is way better, is more skillful today's years than opposed to yesteryears. Of course. But when you start trashing elite players, and then you want to use the hypothetical argument if they was here today and not give them the same advantages and the same rules that they can learn from,
It's not
that's
a
being
hypothetical.
disingenuous.
It's not about.
I don't do
it's not-
hypotheticals.
It's not,
I just
it's
take
not a
players what they did in the
hypothetical.
era.
It's not a hypothetical. When you sit here and look at what the fuck they did in their time and what we see and what they did in their time. Yes, they produced a lot, but we sit here and go off the realistic version of themselves. And we say, yo, Kareem showed me this. This is how skilled he was. And then when I compare it to today's league, it's not a hypothetical. What Kareem showed us was not as good as what everybody else is showing us now.
I
That's
think
just-
Kareem.
and that
I
is-
still think Kareem would still be like the third.
Kareem,
at
no, don't
worst
get me
best big
wrong.
in
I'm
the
not
league.
gonna
That's
complete
fine.
shit. I'm not gonna
That's
complete
fine.
shit on Kareem. You feel me? But to just sit here and say that it's a hypothetical, it's fucking not. It's not a hypothetical. He was dominantly using his right. It's not a hypothetical that guys in the 70s wasn't as talented as today. It's not a hypothetical.
No, I said that, right?
What you're doing is a hypothetical by sitting here just assuming that they would dominate the same exact way.
I didn't
that
say
they
any
did
of that.
back then. I know you're
I
not
didn't say
saying
any
that,
of that.
but this is what a lot of people. You're right. But this is what a lot of people do.
Exactly.
Because that's a hypothetical in itself. To sit here and assume that these guys could sit here and do the same thing they did back then in today's day. That's a real hypothetical. If we're gonna be brutally honest and just go with what they showed us on the tape, I'm sorry, bro. It's just not it. This is just using visuals.
Let me say this.
That's
If
not
you
a hypothetical.
Let me say this, Dub. If you're talking about the average player in the 70s, I completely agree with you. Most of them players, on average, could not play in today's game because, quite frankly, they just weren't as athletic. Today's skill and athleticism is on another planet compared to the 70s, 60s, and 50s, for God's sakes. But when you're talking about the top tier players, like a Wilt, like a Kareem, Moses Malone, Dr. J, those type of players are the ones I think people are thinking you saying just couldn't at all play in today's game.
Don't get me wrong. Like, listen. But don't get me wrong. I see the point in which you're making with that. But what Ace 30 said is using hypotheticals. What you're using is a hypothetical as well by just sitting here assuming that guys on that caliber could just sit
We'll
here
do
and
the
be the
same
same
thing that
exact.
they did exactly.
That's a hypothetical. So don't give me the hypothetical argument. You're using hypotheticals to discredit these guys.
Dub,
I know that's not
never
where you're.
use a hypothetical
Yeah,
argument.
but
I
Ace
never use
30
a
is not
hypothetical.
doing. Ace
let's go.
30 is saying he's leaving them in their era and compare. So, for example, Wilt Chamberlain in the 60s, he's not gonna be like transport that to the 80s to compare him to.
That's what
Magic
I mean.
Johnson. He's saying I'm gonna leave him in the 60s and look at what he did. I'm gonna leave Magic Johnson in the 80s and look at what he did, and then I'm gonna decide who was better in their time, which is how I do it. But when I'm asked who's going to be better in today's game, Wilt or Jokic, like
And Mars, I understand and I have that same way of thinking. I do understand and have that same way of thinking. But if I'm going to be, like I said before, brutally honest and just real with what these guys showed me on the court, no hypotheticals, just based off what these guys show me. How good are these guys good at playing the game of basketball? Is why guys like Gilbert Arenas, is why guys like Dell, they sit here and be like, look at the guys in the past, like Shaq. It's like, bro, these guys, it's not it. I'm sorry, it's not, and that's a brutal. That is the brutal truth.
No, Dub, I want to say this real quick. I want to double say this, and like it is not just the guys from the 60s and 70s. It's literally every generation prior, because the same guy like Steven Jackson and Gilbert Arenas who played in the 2000s, they say things like guys aren't. They say they'll discredit guys like saying guys don't understand the game or guys don't commit a lot on defense. Another thing that I think the 90s and the 2000 fans and generation do to this generation, in particular, they discredit the amount of defense actually being played today. They discredit the amount of physicality actually still in the game today.
It's hard to play defense because people they're so skillful
I
now,
agree with
bro,
you,
that it's
yeah.
like they see it, they see people scoring 30 points or whatever, and they just think that they're not trying, bro. But it's like you're not in the NBA if you don't try.
Yeah, like it's just
like it's hard,
the way
bro.
they
It's
play
hard.
defense is just different.
It's tough.
Like Dub, like I heard. You know what I mean?
I agree with
fans,
you on that point.
You know,
I agree with you on
you know
that
what I mean?
point.
90s fans told me that Jordan would average 45.
That's
to 50
ridiculous,
points if he
bro.
played
yeah,
today.
that's
crazy.
that's crazy. That's
Wait,
crazy
if I'm
as
in-
well.
wait, hold on, hold on. Can I
I
ask
think that's
something real
crazy
quick?
as well.
And this is
Can
why.
I
And
ask
this is
something real quick?
Jordan. Listen, hold on, wait. Jordan said himself. I think when he was talking about Kobe Bryant, that he would have struggled a bit if he faced the same type of defenses that Kobe Bryant faced, and that he would have struggled the same exact way. Go ahead, Gabe. My
Because
bad.
I'm not 100% like I don't know 100%, but wasn't zone defense illegal in the 90s?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how do you beat his zone defense? By shooting, right?
Mhm.
Michael Jordan
that's
can't
one way.
shoot the basketball like that. Am I not?
No,
Wouldn't
the
Michael
free,
Jordan
no.
turn into a
The
facilitator?
free,
the
you
free,
can't
the
do
free,
free, like
the free,
three-point.
no.
Three-point.
I'm gonna say why that's not the same.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Don't you think Michael Jordan would turn into a facilitator if he played his own defense?
No, I'm gonna tell you why.
You don't think
Let me
so?
tell you why. Let me tell you
What
why.
are they gonna? Okay.
Because think about LeBron James. When LeBron James was at his peak and was going to the rack and in the mid range, when he was on the Miami Heat, it's probably one of the best versions of LeBron you've seen when he was on the Heat and when he went back to the Cavs. During that time, LeBron wasn't shooting a lot of threes, but they was playing zone defense. We've been playing zone defense since 2000s.
Right.
Hold on, let me keep
I
going.
got you.
Mike was mostly in the paint and in the mid range. He only went to the three when he had to, and he was pretty decent at it. Look at Mike at his best when he's at the three. He's
Wait,
probably
decent at what?
He's a decent 3-point shooter. He's not
At 33%?
He's not decent. He's not decent.
Yeah, I'm
decent,
not
bro.
going with that. He was just bad.
He's
I'm not
not
talking
decent.
about. I'm not talking about late. Early Michael Jordan got pretty decent at threes. He got decent enough to where if he needed to shoot him, he'd make them.
Yeah, I'm not going to agree.
I don't know about that one.
Okay, but let's stick to the mid range then. Let's stick to the
There we
mid-range
go.
in the
There we
paint.
go.
Right, there you go. That's
Okay, I agree with this.
Inside the
I
3-point line.
agree
The
There
with
you
way
go.
this.
that
There
the
we go.
floor is spread today,
Right.
that would be Michael Jordan would eat all day from the paint and in the mid range because the floor is too spread.
In the zone
He
defense, they don't play.
he would attack. Yeah, he would get with the zone. He probably would get collapsed on. But like you said,
But I'm saying that because I disagree that he would average 40. I'm not saying
no, I
that he's
think
not
he
going to do
averaged
good.
40. I think he averaged
But
probably
that's just like my
35.
rebuttal to him averaging 40 because that's not going to happen. And
No, he probably
to
averaged 35.
rebuttal what you were saying, LeBron James, he's my favorite player. I was telling Doug the other day. He didn't know that, but he's my favorite player. But to counteract that whole LeBron played against his own defense, against Dallas, they played a zone on him, and he had the worst finals he's ever had in his whole career.
But that wasn't because they played great defense. He was choked. Come on now, he choked.
So you're just gonna take away the great defense
sound
that
like Mark
the Mavericks
Cuban.
No,
played.
Come on,
Dallas played great
Dallas,
defense, but
yeah.
you can
You just
also
gonna take
say
that away from them, bro?
LeBron just got
Jason
That's
better
Terry.
ignorant,
after.
bro. That's
Jason
ignorant.
Terry.
Just to
That's
take
the
away,
guy.
you're gonna take away a great job that another team did, and
I'm
just
not
say
saying
one
that
player
they didn't
choked.
do a great job, but you mean to tell me you scored that badly in the fourth because of great defense? Come on now.
How
Yeah,
else are you gonna fucking not score?
if you watch that series, LeBron was actually making all the right passes and quote unquote zone reads he was doing. The problem is he was actually being too passive, like the man just alluded to, especially in the fourth quarter.
Like, come
So-
on now. The fourth quarter, you don't. LeBron.
I think two things can
I
be
would
true
argue
though.
that Celtics
Exactly.
defense.
And Chris Bosh was
better.
trash that series too.
And he
Chris
killed
Bosh
the
was trash that series.
Celtics.
He gets a pass. He was great against Chicago.
Yeah, but that Maverick series, he was trash.
Yeah, but it happens. Everyone.
Nah,
has
but
it.
LeBron was
I would argue
worse.
when he played
LeBron-
the Celtics.
Chris Bosh-
You
the
gotta
Celtics
credit,
and
Chris
the
Bosh
Bulls
having
defense
more
was
points
better
than him
than
is
the Mavericks
OD.
defense.
you gotta
He
credit
killed them.
San Antonio. You gotta credit Dallas, bro.
No,
Yeah, you can credit Dallas and acknowledge that LeBron choked.
Yeah. Of course, I'm
I'm not
not.
gonna lie,
That's
Gabe.
a decent
I'm not.
defense.
I'm not gonna
Hey,
lie,
wrong,
Gabe. That's just like I remember I got hate from 247 basketball dude on TikTok. I got hate because I said that Dallas Mavericks. I look at that series more like a fluke, because even though the Mavericks did play great defense, we just can't dismiss the fact that LeBron James just
Oh no,
he
I'm
wasn't
not
aggressive.
bro.
That's fine.
Bro.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
But
Dub,
why
you
you
gotta
say
stop
that
saying
for
that
one
too.
reason?
You gotta stop saying that
me.
too.
You can't.
I look
you
at more
gotta
like a
stop saying
choke
like
job.
that
I'm sorry.
and-
It's just more of
No,
a choke
all
job.
right.
to me. I'm sorry.
So would you
I'm
say the
sorry.
same thing for the Pistons in 04?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
It was more of a choke. It was more of a choke job by Kobe than opposed
Yes.
to the Pistons playing great defense.
They could
Yeah.
play great. They could play great. They
Alright.
could choke as well.
We
Alright,
man.
Exactly.
The
I'm not
defense they
trying to
played
dismiss
was
it either.
all
That's
time for sure.
Yeah, I think the
But-
Pistons is much less of a fluke than the Dallas.
Yeah,
series.
way less than a fluke.
I think it's
I,
less.
I don't
100%.
think either are quote unquote.
I think
flukes.
Kobe and Shaq just had too many issues going on, and they couldn't really work together by the time that they played them, and it was done.
I think Kobe struggled from the fact that was one series where Shaq wasn't commanding a double team every possession, so he was
No.
having to go one on one with Tayshaun Prince, and he ended up breaking. He ended up breaking the offense way too many times in that series, trying to force the action, and it ended up just ruining the Lakers' offense. Kobe doesn't get enough blame for that series, like when we just talk about it in general. So
Yeah, I
That's
think
why
Kobe
he-
should. I think Kobe should get a lot of blame for that series. Though I think he was the main reason why they folded.
Yeah, outside some of the turnovers, Shaq was perverted. He was actually having one of the best efficient seasons he ever had. The fact they was playing a 1-on-1.
yeah, but
I mean, series. My fault.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but H30, to go further deep into your point, like I still even consider that 3-1 lead for the Golden State Warriors. That's still a choke job to me as well.
So,
It's it's just
100%
that's just how I view things. LeBron did play great. Dirk played great. The Pistons played great. But I can acknowledge the fact that that's more of choke jobs to me than those guys just overcoming the odds.
Okay, this acknowledge the other side. That's all.
Yeah. I do. I don't dismiss and this is the thing
once
that
they
people
lost
get confused.
Draymond, the momentum was
Yeah.
done. The
And that-
momentum
and-
swung the other way.
And this is the thing that people just get confused about me. Like I could acknowledge the fact that Dirk did play amazing, but still acknowledge the fact that shit was still a choke job. And I think when people, and this is the thing that people just get caught up in, they get caught up, oh, you're saying it's a coach job, you're automatically taken away from Dirk. No, I'm not. I just think that's just more of a choke job. It is what it is. When Giannis beat the Brooklyn Nets, I didn't look at Giannis as a better player. I look at Giannis like, yo, I mean, you benefited from the fact that the players got hurt. I mean,
All right,
it is
Dub.
what it is.
Let's get nasty. How many legit rings by your logic do the Golden State Warriors have? Then?
It's not a lot. There's not a lot, but I don't let rings validate
One,
on
no,
how
no,
I
not
don't
zero.
I don't let.
No,
I
answer
don't-
the question.
zero?
Answer the question. I know.
it would have to be.
I need a
last
number.
year?
I need a number.
We're injured.
What about last year?
This one. True.
2022.
They got
Nobody
one
number.
that was
Bro,
legit.
last year Jamal Murray's
not gonna lie,
hurt,
Mars.
MPJ's hurt, John Morant gets hurt.
No, we talking about the
2022.
finals. We talking
I'll
about
give
the
you-
finals.
I'll give
right?
you- Mars.
No, we talking
I'll
about
give
the whole thing.
Yeah,
the whole
the
run
whole
has to
playoffs
be.
thing.
I'll give you.
Nobody
20
has
The whole
a legit
playoff
ring
process.
then.
He's always injured.
Let me answer the question.
Nobody
Let me
has
answer
a
the
legit
question.
ring then.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
Yeah, nobody
Let
does.
Dub answer.
But all right, so the only legit thing I think for the Warriors is 2022, 2017. I give them. I think they could have beat the Spurs. I think they should have won in 2019 as well. But that's the thing about me, where I always say I don't let rings validate on how great I think a team or a player is. So even though that, let's say I don't think that their rings is that great, I still think they're a great team.
No,
Okay,
teams
let me-
you have to do that. Teams you got to judge them if they win or not. Not
Like
players.
I think
Teams.
28. I think the 2018 Rockets, bro. Shit, That's an amazing team, bro.
I think yeah, I think
No,
I
there
think
was-
you do. I think you do judge teams like based on like winning and rings, but
Right.
there's so many factors that go into winning besides the quality of one individual player. That when you start telling me this player is better than this player because he won more, when there's injuries, the supporting cast, coaching, injuries for the other team, injuries for your team, like I said, there's so many factors outside of this one player's impact that would go into winning a title. Because it's so hard to win 4 playoff series with everything going right. It's very hard. It doesn't make you a better player for getting through that. It makes A, the team was healthy. B, you had great coaching more than likely. You had a great supporting cast, and you played great. So there's too many factors for me to just say.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's why
There's too many factors for me to just say this
I
player is
wanted
better than
us
this.
to debate him about that Kevin Garnett thing.
What's going
That
on?
was that. Come on, that was whack.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What up,
Yeah,
Love?
your mic
yeah,
is.
you get your muffled.
I hear.
is muffled.
Yeah, I hear everything.
Oh wait, my bad. Hold on. Give me a second.
Are we gonna talk about what Fluent said?
What do you say?
About Magic Johnson, bro?
I mean, I addressed it,
That
Gabe.
was
If you want
ridiculous.
to.
No one believes Magic Johnson could play the
Gabe,
best.
Gabe.
Oh,
Gabe.
I do want to say this. I don't think it was a Curry and Magic debate. I think it was just a comparison, a horrible one. But I think it just a comparison. I don't think it was actually. a debate.
That was bad. No, let me tell you why that's bad. Magic Johnson
I was gonna
would do
chill.
the same thing that you see Ben Simmons doing now.
That's what I was. Yes, that's what I was saying.
He's literally Ben Simmons is just young Magic Johnson. He's tall and can play point guard
without
and he barely
nowhere near
plays
defense.
That's
That
all.
Magic's more
Magic's
more
I think
aggressive.
I'm watching by them, but I was
think
saying
Magic
that.
Johnson was a better leader. Magic Johnson was a better
fine.
leader.
No, he was more aggressive scorer.
Yeah, he was
That's
more aggressive
fine, but
he was
offensively.
more aggressive.
When you limit basketball to a half court setting as much as they do now, you're limiting Magic Johnson's entire game basically because he's more of a full court player.
I don't know.
Pushes the
which Magic? Which Magic?
Early Magic, yeah. Early Magic, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all making some terrible arguments. I'm just keeping it here with y'all, bro. A lot of things
every
y'all
argument
saying.
is terrible.
A lot of
What's up,
things y'all
bro?
saying just does not make any sense at all. Like not even in the slightest.
Go
Like
ahead.
very little. Like even the argument you're
Rebuttal.
having right now to argue that Magic Johnson would be bad in a half court set with ample floor spacing and no legit big men is just dumb. It's just dumb. Sorry to tell y'all.
How?
No.
If you ever seen him operate in the post, if you ever seen him being able to like actually get to his spots in today's league, that is dumb. That's a dumb argument.
No, when you look at
Do you
today's
think Magic
game,
can play
because of the
center?
way- at the clip that
He can
they
play
shoot
forward. He can
three,
play power forward.
He won't play center.
Do you think he could play center?
In today's game, yeah, why not? Why?
No.
Low. Stop being
No.
disingenuous.
Oh,
Low, stop being disingenuous.
Right.
Low.
Why?
Draymond was playing center for half these possessions during the death lineup years.
Who?
We're not gonna compare
Magic
Draymond
Johnson
Green and
got
Magic Johnson
Draymond.
Well, not on
defensively.
defense, but when he's a
That's not what
playmaking
he
center
asked me.
in
Though. He didn't
solo.
say about defense. He just said, can he play it? Yeah, he
No,
could play it.
and that's the point. That's the point.
All right, but Low,
So,
if you
I
put
don't
him at,
think you heard
if
this.
you put him at the
I
I
center,
don't think you heard the point. I don't think you heard the point. So let me tell you the story, right?
Okay.
We heard somebody say that Magic Johnson wouldn't be a point guard today. He will be a point center, meaning that for the majority of the game, he will play the center position. What we're arguing is that's completely ludicrous to believe because I think the defense, even though offensively Magic could do that, I'm not going to say he couldn't do it offensively. Defensively, whichever team he's on would take a crazy hit if he's on the if he's the center for the team
And why is that?
because Magic's not a good defender.
Can't play defense.
Okay,
like
and
that.
so is Jokic a good defender?
Way better than Magic.
I didn't say
As
that.
a-
I
as-
didn't.
yeah.
That's not the question I asked. That's not what I asked. I'll ask it again. Is Jokic? Would you qualify him as a good defender?
He's better than Magic.
He's
So
an
yeah.
average.
Again,
He's
okay.
okay. He's
No,
okay.
you're asking
Okay,
me
no,
about
wait.
Magic Johnson, though.
He's
I'll-
okay.
I'll-
He's okay.
I'll
He's okay.
he's okay. I
I
can't say he's bad. I can't say he's bad.
Okay, if I wouldn't classify him as a good defender. Okay.
Okay, so to argue that you have to be a good defender to play the 5 again is bad. I agree that he probably wouldn't be best utilized at the 5. Like I said, at the 4 makes more sense. But no,
Then I could just play anyone, and I could just play anyone at the 5.
Anyone can do
So
anything.
can LeBron?
I just throw Steph Curry at the 5 and be
Do you
like,
think
oh, well,
LeBron-
who
do you
cares
think
about
yeah,
that?
but Curry,
Now, are
Curry,
you talking about LeBron now or like just in general?
Wherever,
LeBron
wherever.
in
general.
No, hell no.
well, LeBron played 5 last year. So why?
Yeah,
and it wasn't.
That wasn't working
good.
either.
Yeah, but
And it
terrible.
wasn't
That wasn't
good.
working either.
It was
But the
terrible.
value, but again, the value that you could get out of LeBron at the 5 would be more than you get at Curry at the 5. So, like, no, there's still value
Okay.
that can be gained from it, though.
But it's not good.
It's not good.
not
I think the
good.
point Fluent
Well,
was
I'm not-
making was Magic would have
Oh well,
should
if
play
he's
the
trying
5.
to say no, he shouldn't play. It's more point forward, but
Yeah,
no, like
that's what I said.
I mean, yeah, technically anyone can play the 5. You could put
Right, but
Steph
that's
Curry
not,
at
yeah,
center.
that's just
you
like
could.
an easy cop out. That's an
But
easy
it doesn't mean it's going to be effective or be useful. The biggest issue everyone has with Jokic is defensively. You get that with Magic, and it's 10
Hell,
times
Towns
worse.
is playing 5, and Towns cannot play defense. Towns is horrible defensively.
Man, I'd rather have
Rudy
Towns
Gobert's
down
playing
there than
5.
Magic.
But yeah,
Johnson.
everyone.
I don't know if
What
you've
are we
seen Towns
doing?
play. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah,
Towns
Rim
play.
protecting.
that
No,
one.
I know
mean,
how bad Towns is defense. Don't get me
I don't
wrong.
know if you've
And
seen
I
Towns
told you,
play
I
defense.
told you about Towns and his defense.
I mean,
But
Towns'
what the
defense
fuck?
looks worse when he's playing
But
the 4 than
Magic
the 5.
Towns
Johnson,
looks way worse.
Magic
Yeah,
Johnson
wait,
as
yeah.
your rim protector?
Jesus,
Nah, I'm
man.
not with that
Go.
shit. I'm not with that shit. Not even a
Speaking of
little
that,
bit.
I want to ask y'all, what do y'all think is the solution for the Timberwolves? For real, like,
I
what do you
don't
think is
care about the
solution?
Timberwolves like that.
They need to trade D'Angelo Russell some way.
I think they need to
That's
trade
not
Rudy or
enough.
Cat.
That's not enough of an answer.
They need to, because if you're gonna keep Cat and Rudy,
That's
you need
it,
to
bro.
trade D'Lo.
They need to
Jaden-
no. The actual problem is actually Towns.
But I
was
think they're
gonna
gonna
say,
keep like
like,
realistically,
like,
I would get rid of
like,
one of the bigs realistically, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So I think D'Lo is the
Y'all think
only
that the
expendable
Timberwolves are
piece.
gonna play better now that Towns is out?
Yeah,
Might.
The next
Yeah,
couple weeks?
100%.
Probably so, yeah.
yeah.
Better
watch
defense, yeah.
No,
I
a
only
big
watched the
reason,
Heat
a
game.
big reason why that tandem doesn't work is because they were looking at that, probably thinking about, and I think Dub, you said it yesterday, or somebody was on the show. Players Choice said it the other day. They was trying to do similar to what you saw in New Orleans with AD and Cousins, but that doesn't work because the
Rudy
reason
Gobert
that work is
cut off.
because
Yeah, I said that.
AD plays in the post, and you saw Cousins mostly playing on the outside. They could go back and forth. Whereas
No, I brought up defense.
I'm talking about AD and Cousins. While it did work, they both stretched the floor
Well, it
and they could
wasn't
both
working.
play in the paint also. Whereas you have Towns who does play on the perimeter at sometimes, but if you look at his game, most of it comes from the mid range and in the paint. And if you got Rudy down there too, you clogging up the hole. That doesn't work.
I think the main.
I think the
No,
defense is the
The
bigger
defense is
problem.
the
Yeah,
problem. It's not.
I think-
No, I'm talking about offensively and defensively. It doesn't work at all either because Rudy's good and Cat is bad.
I think the defense was the main reason why the New Orleans Pelicans was able to flourish. I do agree with you. Boogie could space out the floor well along with AD, but I think the defense is the main reason why that was able to work out because you had AD. He could play on the perimeter while Boogie Cousins could stay down low.
I just don't think they're mobile enough defensively. That's like the biggest
I
problem.
think they
I
got.
That's why I didn't get the Kyle Anderson pickup because
the
he's
athleticism.
he's
is
the
just lack.
opposite of mobility. Like
Yeah.
you had Jared Vanderbilt and you replaced him with Kyle Anderson.
The lack of
Jared Vanderbilt was so
athleticism
good because he could get around the court and plug up Cat's defensive
and
deficiencies.
I think
Now
they
you have
should
Kyle
trade Rudy
Anderson
and get
trying
some
to
of
do
their
that and it
pieces
doesn't
back.
work.
D'Lo's also
They
looking
can.
bad. D'Lo's
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell needs to
I don't
go.
watch-
I don't know what they can get. For
Also,
him, but
yeah,
they
get rid of
need-
D'Lo. That's terrible.
I'm not gonna lie. Unless they get rid of one of those bigs, they won't do anything.
If you had a perfect world and Lonzo Ball was healthy and the Timberwolves could get Lonzo Ball, I think their team would look substantially better. I'm not saying it would work, but I think Lonzo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Cat and Rudy would look substantially better than what they have going on right now.
What if?
Nah,
I
that's
mean,
something they can still. They still can't. I get what you mean, but
Yeah.
even in the playoffs, that having Cat and Rudy on at the same
Oh,
time.
you're not winning.
never
You're
gonna
not
work.
winning a
What if?
championship
What
or
if?
going
What if
far in
one
the
comes
playoffs
off
with
the
this.
bench for the other? Like that's just like throwing something out there. I don't know. I don't watch the Timberwolves.
I heard that I heard that the other day, and I was like, yeah, but that still doesn't work because Cat doesn't play doesn't play well enough
Let's say
defense.
Towns on the roster is a problem. It's just Towns. There's no
Yeah.
other way around it.
Towns doesn't fit the system they're running now.
Man, you're not gonna get Rudy. You're not gonna keep Rudy free of blame, though. I'm not gonna let you do that shit.
No, but
Rudy's been great
Towns-
defensively.
Rudy's been great.
I don't know what he's meant
Towns-
to do. He's been great.
Nah, bro.
Also, Towns just lacks too many like too many characteristic traits that you would need of a player to be a consistent 50 to 55 win ball club who can make deep postseason runs. He just lacks way too many of them. So that's like another reason why like he just can't. Like he's just like he is a noticeable problem.
Nah, I agree. Towns terrible defensively, but
yo,
Rudy
Lo,
playing
speaking
top
of-
coverage is a problem too.
Rudy's been great defending the pick and
I
roll.
don't care. No,
Yeah, they're
bro.
phenomenal.
He's
But
gonna be-
Lou,
Use Cat. I think you can use Cat to get some of the pieces you got that you lost
Nobody. I highly doubt. I actually think Towns will quickly be on one of the worst contracts in the NBA because I don't think nobody wants Towns.
You don't think so?
Really?
He just signed an extension, and he's gonna be making $60 million in 2028.
Damn.
And you don't think there's a team that would pick him up?
No.
Dang.
That's like
there's
right now.
There's a suck in every franchise, Lo. There's a suck in every franchise. Somebody would pick up Towns if they were really available.
I know somebody threw out that AD might be a good trade, but I don't know.
AD's not going anywhere.
Why would they trade Davis?
Anthony Davis is top 10 player.
If you want to fix people were saying if you want to fix the Lakers problem, I heard it on.
Have you seen that? Have you seen their team stats over the last 8 games?
They're nice, bro.
Have you seen who they face? Have you seen
that's
they face
fine,
in the last 8 games?
It's nice.
You got to beat who's in front of you.
You gotta start playing good basketball.
That's not an assessment of how good the team is, though.
Okay, I'm not trying to assess.
Oh, I agree with that. I still don't think the Lakers.
I'm saying that you don't like. You got to start playing good basketball at some point, and maybe you start picking that up throughout the season. And if you can implement that to good teams, like against good teams, and something good, so you can start going up. So who knows? Because they're winning the games that they're supposed to be winning.
No, that team sucks. Are they?
Yes.
They lost to the Pacers.
They blew a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter.
In the last
game.
They blew a 17-point lead.
We're gonna find out tonight.
That's not fine, actually. That's actually not.
No, like okay, that's not fine. But they're 6-2 in the last 8 games. They've won majority of the games that they're supposed to win. I'll say that.
So, Gabe, who's winning tonight? Who's winning tonight?
Shit, I mean, hopefully the Lakers win, but realistically, the Bucks. Because Chris Middleton, I mean,
it's the Bucks. Yeah,
I assume you. So realistically,
with no wings, remember, with no wings that can slow him down. Lakers have no wings that can slow Chris Middleton down.
Off of injury, though. You're expecting him to be like the Chris Middleton.
Wait, Chris Middleton's back.
No, I expect him to play 25 minutes. I expect him to play 25 minutes and get 15 points.
I just didn't know.
That's not a eureka moment, Mars.
I never said it. I just didn't know.
It's Middleton.
Thank you.
He's
what
not
you
moving
say?
the needle. It's not.
Thank you.
Thank
you. That's what I've been telling people, bro.
It is.
Thank you.
He's not. Your Mars' eyes lit up as if like it was.
I was surprised. I didn't.
You was
know
like, oh wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't know he was back already.
I've
always said I think Chris Middleton's the third best player on the team. I think he does get overstated.
He's definitely get their shit together.
Crazy low bar.
I'm gonna get you got been up here for half an hour. I'm getting a new rotation of guests, bro. Appreciate you guys for joining up.
All right, nice to be on with y'all, man.
Have a great show, y'all.
Appreciate the love, bro. Drop your socials in the private chat, please, bro. We'll definitely give a follow back, man.
Someone said Middleton is basically a young KD.
Oh no.
I'm just gonna hope they were trolling because that's crazy.
Nah, we all know
Drew Holiday play offense like he's trying to get back on that team.
Whoever said that can go to hell.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope they were trolling, but I don't know nowadays.
I can't believe you allowed Dub to get up here with the nasty Kareem takes. It doesn't make any sense.
How's it nasty?
You
want to watch the tape? You want to watch the tape too?
I'm pretty sure I've watched more Kareem than you have, Dub.
After you explained it, I kind of understand it. After you explained it, I kind of understand it. But yeah, you be nasty as hell with the Kareem take.
Listen, don't get me wrong. This is an episode where I'm just tired. I'm just tired of just the old heads just fucking lying. Because if I just be brutally honest with this, and I'm talking about brutal and just the goddamn truth, I mean, it is what it is. It's not my fault that this is what they showed me.
So let me ask you something. If you drop Kareem in the league today, at what number big would he be?
I don't know.
He'd probably still be the best.
At worst, he's top 3, but he'd probably be number 1.
He'd probably still be number 1 though.
Yeah, at worst he'd be 3.
At worst he's 3.
Yeah,
I'll give you at worst he's 3.
Because it's not a lot of good bigs, and you be talking like it's so many good bigs today.
No, there's a lot of.
It's not about that. It's not about that.
More great bigs is what I mean. Great bigs.
A lot of great
Jokic, Embiid, Giannis.
It's just the lies. It's just the lies that I just don't agree with. Especially when, bro, I really want to put this tape on. I don't know why. I want to put this tape on. I want y'all to see and count how many right-handed plays.
Why does that matter? That's the Haley Rice.
Yeah, they don't understand what you're.
I'm sorry.
That's like saying how many left-hand finishes you see from Giannis.
Right. How many times did Michael Jordan dunk with his right hand? That's stupid.
Nah,
Or
bro.
how
I'm
many
sorry, bro.
times does James Harden pass with his right hand or lay the ball over
I'm
his right?
sorry.
That's a
Yeah,
dumb,
James
that's a
James
dumb-
Harden's left hand dominance is crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
Yeah, left hand
like
dominance
no
is
argument.
I've been saying that for a
That's
while.
a dumb
That's
argument,
I won't
dog.
listen.
It's a dumb argument,
I
Dub.
won't. No.
That's a
Listen,
dumb argument, bro.
I won't be too nasty, bro. All I'm saying is, even when I look at, I'm sorry, bro. When I look at some of the bigs, bro, it's like, nah.
But we're talking about specifically
got it, bro.
Kareem, though.
Are you right or left? Are you right or left-handed, dude?
I'm using my right.
If
all
Rudy
day.
Gobert can be a top 5,
So why is you so biased against somebody using
It's
one
not.
hand?
It's not
People
about.
do that
It's
all
not,
the time, bro.
It's not about.
It's dudes in today's league can't use the other hand, bro.
Zion.
Facts.
Yeah, Zion.
Very true.
But this is the thing. I just find it very difficult for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to have the same level of dominance than he did.
He might not have the same level of dominance, but he's gonna be at
Why
least the
not,
third
though?
best.
But
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Who's gonna stop him? Honestly,
What we doing, bro? What we doing?
Are
This what y'all relying on? This what y'all relying on? This what y'all
I
relying
mean,
on?
yeah, if it goes in, what's the problem?
If we taking Kareem from back in
Why-
the 70s,
you just don't like the move because of the way it looked. That's what's
Bro,
crazy.
look at
Right,
Jokic.
it's the aesthetic.
Look at Jokic.
This is all that's gonna happen.
You rather see a spin move and
Y'all
somebody
want-
hit him in the chest and
Y'all
he make
talking
it
about?
other
And
than
we
something.
Jokic
just
gets
talked
this
about.
high off the
we-
ground and is
We
still
just talked
dominating.
about, right? We just talked about how hard defenses are, especially now in today's day, and how even a 2000 player undersimplify that, right? I mean, undercomplicate that, right? We just all talked about with zone defenses, thing like that. So you think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who facing a weaker defensive air, is gonna do the same exact thing that he did back then? Or
But then you
close
can
to
also
it?
say
In this
Kareem was,
era,
you can also say
you
Kareem
can
was
have
playing
more
with less
space
space.
around
Yeah,
him.
you can also say he's playing
Yeah,
with
He
less
would have
space.
more spacing. He would have.
Is that my boy Dale? What's cracking, Dale?
Nah,
What's up,
bro.
T?
What we doing? Because they would send. They will be able to
Dub,
send.
what are
help.
you
They
talking
will be able
about,
to send
Dub?
help, bro. They will be able to send
Imagine
help.
Kareem-
What? Send help with
Kareem was
what?
Kareem was 7'2" and could
I'm about to
definitely
say,
get
you're
that,
saying is
get that hook shot
Kareem-
off over people. But
Kareem-
Kareem was also a
Kareem
very
physical-
Kareem was a very solid passer.
Dub, he's
what are you
7'2" and
talking
he
about?
releasing it over his head, bro. Who gonna stop
I'm
it?
not hearing
What
that.
are you talking
I'm
about?
not hearing that shit, bro. I don't know what you guys seeing,
The-
bro.
literally, the
Oh
physical
my
stature
God.
of Kareem,
Plus-
the physical stature of Kareem in today's game would still be an outlier. Like
Yeah,
even in today's game.
he was
Oh,
still
I don't know what you're
17 to
talking
My
about.
move.
thing is, why don't you think the hook shot will work? That's I'm confused about
Against-
that.
Yeah, like I see
Smaller-
I see Robin Lopez doing pretty good with hook shot.
Yeah, he be balling
Against
with it.
smaller, lighter defenders. Why would it not work?
Smaller,
Yeah.
lighter. Bro,
Yes.
stop playing with me, bro.
People is little, dog.
Bro, yo, stop playing with me,
The
bro.
league is literally
No, they just
smaller
drafted
than
Chet Holmgren, bro. He
You wanna
weighed
put the tape?
190 pounds,
You
bro.
want to put the tape? You want to put the tape and see who he was going up against?
What
They-
is, oh,
He's
Dub,
going
Dub,
up
that doesn't address what I just said. There's
You want
Yeah,
still,
you,
there's still
you love not
smaller,
answering
they're still
questions.
smaller and lighter. They're,
Smaller and lighter,
they're,
get up
they're
outta
still
here, bro.
smaller and lighter now than they
It
were
don't
back
matter
Yeah.
if they smaller or lighter. If they
Yes,
not
it
good,
does.
no. If they not good, they not good. It's simple.
So
Yeah,
Draymond's
Kareem is
gonna
good,
stop.
though.
So Draymond's gonna
Right,
defend
I'm
him
about to
because
say-
he's a good defender.
Listen, bro, they'll be able to put up a scheme to stop Kareem.
No, they won't. How you gonna
Nah,
stop him?
stop
How
it. Stop
you
it.
gonna stop him?
Man,
He's
stop
17
it.
and can shoot.
like
Stop
Kareem
it.
is
He's
going
7'2"
up
and can shoot it from
against-
Hold on,
15,
if
bro.
he was in
Defenders
today's
night
league,
in and
wouldn't
night
he have
out.
decades of players to
Tired
of
of
backs to learn from
Bro,
too?
half the league.
Even if he didn't have the decades of players who would be in a league with ample floor spacing and like
It's
only
easy money.
full of-
Yeah, you
and
you could
full
put
of
1976 Kareem in today's NBA and he's
And his
he's
easy
getting
money.
that stuff
Half
off.
the
He's getting that
league
stuff
That's
off.
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
25 a game.
That
Half
and
the
what's
league
so
doesn't even run
crazy?
I'll give him
centers.
25.
And you no, it's not. He's averaging 30 plus.
He's
What are you
No, I
talking
listen,
about?
30
low.
plus?
Yes.
I'm being nice. I'm being nice. I'm being nice.
He's
But
averaging
it's
30
25 a
Bro.
game. He
Hey, Doug.
definitely can
You
average
have
30 though.
guys like Ben Simmons and fucking Sengun starting at
Jokic can't jump over the
That's
court.
what I'm saying.
Like you have
look at
Ben
what are we
Simmons
talking
and
about?
Sengun starting at center.
Also, Dub, you doing that? If you can just watch any game of his. He didn't jump hook like
He didn't just
Oh,
jump
oh,
up
my
like
bad.
that.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Hold on, wait. Let me do another one. That's what he did.
You know he had a drop step too. And
Oh
you know-
yeah. And with the righty, even that he went left, he did. That's all he was doing, bro. What we doing?
and he was averaging 30 doing
And
it.
Zion still averaged 27 doing worse than that.
Against cokeheads.
He would do
Oh, wow.
that.
What?
He would do
Bro,
that
oh,
against.
wow.
He would do that against Bam.
Don't
nigga.
don't get me
Bam
on
is
the
like
don't get me on the
5
drug.
inches.
Don't get me started
Oh,
on the
Bam
drug.
like
Why
six
you
eight.
making it
Yeah, I'm
seem
about to say
like the
Bam is
five
like 5
niggas
inches
He's
shorter than
6'8".
him.
Bam,
He's like
Doug,
he's like 50
Doug,
pounds
Doug,
lighter.
don't
What
get
are
me
you
don't get me
talking
started
about?
on the drugs they taking now.
Yeah, they take drugs that actually make you
Can-
better at basketball.
Can Draymond Green stop?
No, they
Can
don't
Draymond
all
Green
the time.
stop?
A lot of these niggas be on.
Actually,
No, they don't all the time, bro.
Dubber,
Can
are you
Draymond-
saying that Draymond can stop Kareem? What you say?
Please.
Please don't say yes.
If you
no.
say that, you can go ahead and log off, bro.
Dubber, are you saying that? Dub?
Oh, my bad. What happened?
Are you saying that Draymond can stop Kareem?
Man, Bam can stop his ass. What we doing?
No.
Bam-
What we doing? What we
First and
doing?
foremost, Bam getting
Yo,
40
can
put up on you.
Draymond stop? Dub,
40.
can Draymond stop Kareem?
40.
No, stop. If Bam can stop it, what you think I'm gonna
Bam
say?
getting 40. Bam getting
Oh
40.
my!
What you think I'm gonna say, Lo?
So
Man,
you're
get out of
saying-
here.
So you're,
Hey, Bam
you're
getting
saying
40.
somebody who's like
IO can
7,
stop
8 inches
Kareem?
taller.
Yeah, you wanna know why?
Low, how much Kareem putting up on Bam?
Because he's more skilled.
Yo, Kareem is legitimately putting 50 on Bam. I'm not even trying.
Easy
More
50.
skill? What does that have to do with
Stop
anything?
playing with me,
Easy 50, bro.
You got Draymond.
Yeah, Dub,
having
you're
to go
trolling. You're
against-
trolling,
Nah,
Dub.
bro.
You're
You have
trolling.
Draymond
Yeah,
having to go
he
against
might be trolling.
the
He's
best.
trolling.
Get out of
This
here,
why-
bro.
You're
this
trolling.
You know what I really want to talk
this
about?
why everybody voted against you against
Oh,
Fluent, because you be
man.
saying shit like this.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So they voted for him for fire. Thank you for clarifying that.
Hey, Dub.
You be saying
Hey,
some
Dub.
bullshit. That's
Hey,
why.
hold on. Hey, Dub, I do agree. Hakeem clears though. I am with you on that.
Okay, I'm
Hakeem
agree
clears.
on that too. I agree on that.
Yeah,
I don't know about clear. I don't know about clear. I don't mind saying Hakeem's better, though, but I think Clears is a bit. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But Hakeem with
Clears.
Magic.
Wait,
But
Dub,
Hakeem
so
with
by
Magic is crazy.
Dub, by that logic, then, you think Harden would be bad in the 70s then?
Yeah, say it. Go ahead. Yeah, say that.
Don't get me on my Harden train, bro. I don't like Harden like that, bro.
So you don't like none of the really good players. You just like a whole bunch of role players.
I like Jimmy Butler.
A role
I
player.
mean, all right. By your logic, Jimmy Butler would be bad in the 70s.
He'll be good. He'll be good. Nah, bro. I think James Harden and Jimmy Butler would be good in the 70s.
Why would James Harden be good in the 70s?
If we taking a time machine and putting them,
I mean, those ticky-tack fouls in the 70s, James Harden's about to average 53 for
He gonna average 200 points.
Yeah, he's about to average
He's gonna
53 for a
average
game.
200
Foul.
turnovers.
Jimmy Butler?
But the problem is a lot of the things that James Harden does would be considered a travel. So
That's a fact too. He would call for
I agree with that.
And there's less floor spacing as well.
He'll work his way.
And
out.
All he has to do is draw one
He's
bit
the
of
floor
contact and he's
spacer.
getting a
He's
free
a
throw.
floor spacer. What we
He
doing?
gonna get a lot of fouls though.
Yeah, he's gonna get way too many fouls.
We're talking about how many times would he have the ample floor spacing to get what he needs to get off? Because they would just double him, no?
All he has to do is get hit in the arm.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be able
could
to
draw a
20,
foul,
20,
though, like
20
easily.
times.
That's all I'm saying. He's about to draw a foul down there.
You mean without the fouls?
I don't think he would get. I mean, he would get fouls, but I don't think it'd be like to the levels in what you're saying. I'm saying James Harden. I think like the argument that Dub is why it's flawed. Where players benefit from several factors in their own era. So
That's
James Harden benefits from the maximum floor spacing, the leeway with what they call a travel and what they don't. He benefits from the fact that it's an actual 3-point line. He benefits from those things. Kevin Durant does as well. That's why Kevin Durant.
Think of. Oh my bad. Go ahead, bro.
I'll just say real quick.
That's
why Kevin Durant gets to cry and complain about him not having ample floor spacing in OKC. And so if he goes somewhere else where they're playing his own defense in the 2000s and he doesn't have ample floor spacing, and on top of that, not even as great as a playmaker
really
as
doesn't
Westbrook.
like Kevin Durant.
He has a point. If you put KD on those Orlando teams T-Mac was on, it's gonna look bad. He's still be one of the best scorers like in the NBA, but it won't look.
It won't look anywhere near close.
The efficiency that
I think James Harden is a little smarter than that though, because he studies. I want to say he knows the rules of how.
Yeah,
how to manipulate the rules.
Yeah, but there wouldn't be much to manipulate in the 70s because they're calling everything so tight, though.
But if he played, then I don't think he would do that stuff because he knows the rules.
How good do you think Kevin Durant will be in the 70s and 80s?
Oh, I think he'll be. I personally think that all great players can transcend. Yeah. You are the one who's making the argument.
I agree.
Off of things.
How far back does that transcending thing go? Because Bob Cousy's not transcending.
I don't think Bob Cousy's great though. So.
Yeah, right.
Jerry West isn't transcending to me.
I
think Jerry West was great.
Jerry West.
I don't see that working in the 2010s.
I don't see how long.
Why not?
I mean,
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't understand what you said because I don't
I
think it
just
would
don't
take that.
see it.
I don't think it would take that long for him to gain the knowledge and
Yeah,
skills.
he
to
would.
be a
Yeah,
good
he
So
was a
defender.
good.
he was a
yeah,
top 5 player in the 60s, is what I'm saying.
Will
I
be
don't
able to
see
shoot the
that.
three
In
off
the
the dribble,
2010s,
off
that
the
weak
head.
ass decade, the 2010s.
Yeah, I don't think he's a top 5 player.
Yeah, the 2010s wasn't that great.
Yeah,
either.
I don't think he's a top 5 player.
What are we
What
Yeah,
about
he played-
Elgin Baylor?
All players.
I think
all
Jerry
players
West
that
is
can
better than
just
Elgin Baylor.
transcend.
No, do you think Elgin Baylor could play today? That's what he asked.
Yes.
No, whether I think Jerry West could play today. I'm saying he wouldn't be like in the.
You don't think he
60s.
averaging 20? You don't think he averaging 20?
I don't think he's as good in the 2010s as he was in the. I don't think he's high ranking in the 2010s as he was.
I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. So
I
yeah,
disagree.
I do think if you give him the
Because
time
there's
to
more-
adapt,
because
he
there's
could
more
play.
than guard.
But
But I
that
don't think
logic,
he'd be as
Mars,
good. That's what I'm
but
saying.
by that logic, then if you put Kevin Durant,
I agree
on the Orlando Magic.
Yeah,
where
he's not
Tracy McGrady
he's not a
he'll
top
be
3 player
nowhere
in the
near as
2000s.
good. I don't even think he'd be a top 5 player. Actually,
I agree.
KD?
I'm not disagreeing with this. by the
So,
way.
so do you think Tracy McGrady is better than KD?
No, I think that players just benefited from certain area, a certain time
Oh,
period.
yeah.
And so
yeah,
their
yeah.
entire game
I mean, yeah,
and
absolutely,
scope,
yeah.
how they play basketball is based off of that. So when KD is in OKC and he doesn't have floor spacing, he can go bitch and complain about it. But when you're in the 2000s and no one has floor spacing, let's
Yeah,
see
you
how
got to
that
deal with it.
Got to deal with that. Yeah.
And when we saw that,
I
he
think
was horrible in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think
but
that's kind of. I think that's kind of disingenuous.
You're right.
Because
It's
I
not
think
disingenuous.
right.
no, I think it is. I think
No,
it
it's
is.
not.
Wait,
Not the
let me
nigga
tell
who's
you
sitting
why.
here saying that.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Yeah.
Not that nigga.
Let me tell you why it's
Hey, Lo, what was he doing
Because
here,
we-
Lo?
Yes,
Do it.
all
I'm doing
understand.
this good.
That's all he does. That's all
Nigga
he
talking
does.
about
And let me tell you
disingenuous.
why
What
it's
are you talking
disingenuous to
about?
Kevin Durant. Because we all can sit here up Naj, because I think everybody's up here shitting on Steve Nash and his coaching system. We're gonna sit here and acknowledge the fact.
I hate
that
Steve Nash.
Oh, we can all
Man
acknowledge
said,
the fact
okay,
that.
Steve.
Wait, because you're bringing up the playoffs where the majority of times. Okay, we can sit here and talk about in the playoffs. The majority of times they're playing on top of the key and playing ISO ball. And with the Boston Celtics, a team like them, it's very easy for them to key in on a guy like Kevin Durant, especially when you're playing that type of brand of
Dub, I'll
basketball.
say it again. I said OKC.
Oh, you said OKC? I thought you said Boston Celtics.
No.
OKC. Even then, like you keep complaining about what he did on OKC. There's only been like what 2 or 3 series when he was on OKC where it was bad.
No, it was not. No, it was not.
The Spurs.
His
The
first
Spurs?
season, the first
Oh,
series
Mavericks,
against
Mavericks.
the
Mavericks.
first series against the Lakers, then the Mavericks, the other Mavericks series in 2016, the Golden State Warriors series,
What Mavericks series in
the Memphis
The
Grizzlies
first
series.
round.
Oh.
There's more
Oh,
series. What are you talking about? And in those
played
series,
bad.
and in those series,
Play bad
he
is a
struggled
disrespect.
because of lack of floor spacing, and in some of those series, he still had a playmaker that nobody really had to that level as a second option during the 2000s. So again,
what's
if he
playing
didn't
bad
have
to you?
that playmaker, and if he didn't have the
Yeah, I need
floor
to hear that.
spacing, what
What's
would
playing
that
bad to
nigga
you?
look like?
What's playing bad to you?
I need to hear that.
What is playing bad to you?
Percentages drop to like low 40s, shooting 33% from behind the arc. Defense is shaky and questionable. Playmaking and handling is also questionable. It's just volume.
So Kevin Durant, you mentioned the Grizzlies series, right? I just
Okay.
think that just goes to the greatness of Tony Allen, in my opinion. I think Tony Allen is one of the best defenders we've ever
The
seen.
greatness
And there
of
was a
Tony
bunch of
Allen.
niggas like
Yeah,
Tony,
Tony
Allen
Allen.
with zone
Tony
defense
Tony
in
is
the
just great.
2000s.
But hold up. Because Kevin Durant in that series had 44%, 32 from 3, and he scored 30.
Did I not just say low 40s, low 30? I just said that.
44, wait. 44 and 45, that's low for you?
Is it 44 or is it 45?
Why are we doing field goal percentage? Jesus
No,
Christ.
I mean,
Yeah, what is
what's
it?
the-
Actually,
what's
what is the
Yeah,
true
what's the true
He struggled against
shooting?
the Grizzlies.
Mark,
He struggled
Nick, what's the
against
true
the
shooting? What's the true shooting?
What are we talking
It
about?
says
What-
it in there. What are you talking? You asking this nigga? It
I'm
says
looking
it
at it right now.
there.
54%.
No,
54%.
he struggled against the Grizzlies. Like if you watch the series,
That might literally
know.
be
I know.
like that might literally be
but
average.
the other ones might be questionable.
You could say it's average. That's not struggling though. That's not ass. The way
Spurs
you trying to
didn't
lead
win
off.
the
but the
You got
hard-
the Mavericks. You got Golden State, and you got
Grizzlies
the Dallas Mavericks, the Lakers and Dallas Mavericks again. Other than that, that's how many playoff series and how many years he
No.
was on OKC.
Again, when you're talking about a player who doesn't provide much as a defender, who may be neutral in terms of his playmaking and passing abilities. Like the premise of who Kevin Durant is and how great he is the fact that he can score at that volume, at that rate of efficiency. If you're taking that efficiency away and you're still not providing anything else that he's supposed to make up for it, then yes, like his impact will drop tremendously.
But that wasn't the conversation. We're talking about Kevin Durant struggling in the postseason.
He would struggle.
And trust me, bro, against Miami Heat, he got buckets. Against all these other teams, Milwaukee.
He got buckets on Miami with two elite playmakers in Westbrook and Harden. Harden also was a quality 3-point shooter as well. Great perimeter defender, so we didn't have to.
We could sit here and do this with everybody. What are we doing?
Naming them for Tracy McGrady. Naming them for Tracy McGrady in Orlando.
Tracy McGrady is great, but you really gonna sit here and you believe in your heart, that Kevin Durant wouldn't be successful or do the same thing that Tracy McGrady did in the postseason?
Name me the playmakers that Tracy McGrady played with.
He did not play with the type of playmakers that Kevin Durant played with. But let me ask you the question: do you really believe in your heart that Kevin Durant couldn't do the same exact thing that Kevin Durant could done on that?
Tracy McGrady?
Tracy McGrady, yeah.
To be honest, I don't think so.
He might have got the first round once or twice, but I don't think he would be nowhere near successful. I don't.
As Tracy a first round exit?
I don't think he would ever get to the conference finals at all.
What?
Tracy didn't.
Didn't Tracy play that 03-04 Pistons team?
So yes, so you're shitting. Wait. You're shitting on Kevin Durant. But you're shitting on.
Yeah,
Kevin Durant,
he would not do what Tracy did against them.
You just said out your mouth that he will probably make it out the first round, going that you even believe in what Kevin Durant and what he brings to the game.
But being better than Tracy McGrady does not make you instantly a top 15 player in the league.
Why use that as a comparison?
No, because we're talking about a player who was a high volume scorer on one team that lacked a lot of the fundamental aspects that Kevin Durant benefited from, and trying to push that team deep into the postseason. A huge reason why a lot of these players that you're talking about, how they struggle throughout league history, or the concept of who they were as ball players, a lot of that is based off of what they had at their disposal at that time period. So removing that context and just looking at KD or players in today's game. Yeah, players in today's game have better floor spacing. They have more playmaking abilities with their teammates. The defense is way more advanced. So if you're a weak defender, you're much easier to be hit in today's league as well. Like there's so many advantages that you're removing from that situation.
They was hiding people too, bro. They was hiding.
I didn't say they were. I just said it's more advanced, so it's more ways to hide players now than it was back then.
Yeah, back in the day
there's more ways. Hold on, my bad. There's more ways to hide players because there's more ways to score the ball. So it's a two-way sword. Yes, you have a point. You have a point with that. We're saying, there's more ways to hide players, but that's mainly because of how complex the game is now today. So that doesn't really help your argument.
It does,
but back then you couldn't play zone. You also couldn't just shade it over. So when Lowe's talking about hiding defenders, like it was literal. MJ was scoring against literal like one-on-one situations. Like he's on one side of the floor, and besides the defender in front of him, the defense is also on the other side of the floor. He's playing on a whole side of the floor by himself against one defender. So once he beats him, it's easy picking.
Yeah, that was from Michael Jordan's time. That wasn't how it was for the whole NBA. Like, I think there's a misconception thinking that like that happened for like even in the 80s. Like that was something that was mainly in the 90s. When did illegal
rule was implemented in the early 80s. I think it was 82. I think that's when they implemented it, because
I know in the early 80s it wasn't in there.
I think I checked it today because I was confused.
No, hey Dub, I do also want to say about, because I've been on this agenda all year. I said it earlier to y'all on one of the videos. Hey, Jason Tatum, bro. Hey, I've been on this train. I've been on this bandwagon. I said earlier in the game he was the third best player in the league. Now the man about to win. Hey, JT about to win MVP, the chip, and Finals MVP this year. So where y'all gonna rank him after he accomplishes these things?
That's crazy. What do you guys have to say about that?
Y'all think that's a crazy statement?
No. It's just the fact that you just
added all of those variables.
Happen, right?
I believe it, bro. Hey, they got the best team in the league, like by far, just by far the best team in the league. He's playing ridiculous right now on both ends of the court. Um, and the way people been talking about Chris Middleton, he needs to come back and be Kobe. Like people act like he about to come back and average 30 and be an MVP candidate, but I don't think that's going to be enough to beat that Celtics team. Especially once Rob gets back. So yeah, I'm taking the Celtics this year, going all the way, and JT for Finals MVP.
I got the Celtics going all the way too. Does anybody else have anybody different?
Going all the way in terms of coming out the East or winning the title?
No, they're winning the title. They're winning the title.
I got Boston winning the title, bro.
I don't
Unless
know.
the Golden State Warriors fix themselves, I got Boston as a clear.
I got them coming out the East like comfortably. I don't know if they're winning the title, but I think
Boston,
they'll be in the finals.
unless Golden State get it together, I think Boston gonna win.
Yeah, if I had to bet right now, I'd say I got Boston.
Like next time, you don't think Boston gonna make it?
I'm not very high on the Bucks anyway, but
their offense is pitiful.
yeah, I'm not a fan of. I said, I need to wait for Chris Middleton before I start.
You're waiting on that. That's crazy.
Yeah, because people keep saying.
I mean, he played good during the playoff run, but yeah, I'm with Low on this. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna move.
I mean, Malcolm Brogdon made
It's gonna like
almost cancel out
I
Chris
think-
Middleton. The addition of Malcolm Brogdon may almost cancel out Chris Middleton.
Yeah, the good thing about he can get him in their spots and stuff better than Marcus Smart, Marcus Mid.
I think he was the perfect solution for them. You feel me? And that's why I thought like as soon as Mars told me that they got Malcolm Brogdon, I'm like, bro, I thought that with the Celtics going through that learning curve of being in the finals, they made a lot of mistakes, which is why they really fell to the Golden State Warriors. Having that learning curve, adding a guy like a Malcolm Brogdon, plays defense, spaces the floors, can play make for him. I always thought that they was damn near the clear favorites to come out the East. I don't know why the Bucks love just got so big, especially with Middleton. Low, I love that.
It's Giannis love.
It's Giannis love.
Low. I'm sorry, that is my favorite. That's my favorite nickname. Right? Middleton is the fucking word, bro.
Yeah, you voted
so
for that.
serious.
You voted for that, Low. Middleton.
Yeah, Middleton. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you something, Low. I want to tell you something real quick. I could watch you and OG debate for an hour. That shit was amazing. I
don't know why, because I watched him.
I don't say you didn't win, so chill. But I'm just saying that shit was good.
Hey, that was the most entertaining debate I watched.
Yeah. Which one? Low
and OG the Beast.
Low and OG.
I like.
They hyped up. They hyped up.
Chilling Elder.
Chilling Elder was my number 2 favorite debate.
That was good. Chilling Elder was
Chill has the nastiest take.
Yeah.
Chill has the nastiest take in player choice history with Kobe at 11. That is so disrespectful,
that's not,
bro.
I mean, that's not crazy.
No, the worst take.
No, it is
defense
crazy.
is an add-on.
The worst take was Scottie Pippen at 10. That's the worst.
Who is that? Yeah, who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Yeah, who is that?
No, Low, you gonna have to come on the show to meet him, bro.
No.
I
ain't gonna lie. That alone was like I might have to disassociate myself.
That's wild.
No, it was Bobby. I was watching the episode.
Scottie Pippen. Who is that? Because I've seen him have some dumb takes.
Very dumb.
I think his takes are worse than tickets, damn near.
Bobby's is the people's champ, bro. We're not gonna sit here and do that, bro.
Bobby has horrible takes.
I mess with Bobby. Bobby cool, but that was the worst take I ever heard in my life.
Yeah, y'all disrespectful.
No love for Scottie Pippen. That's tough.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
it's not even top 30, man. Stop.
Let the Bulls rebounds and assists and steals in the playoffs. I think.
You think? What a crazy.
Still not top 10.
You're still not even close to being top 10.
Not close.
Hey, but I'm gonna get a new rotation of guests. Tyrone, I'm gonna keep you up here for a little bit since you had a little difficulty. But all you guys, bro, salute to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being up here. Appreciate the combos. Y'all be easy. Drop socials in the private chat, please, if you haven't already done so. Here we go. Go, fellas.
All right. Yo. Dub.
Oh, what's good, Leaf? How are you?
Yo, bro, Dub. It's only 2 light-skinned people in the world that I like. It's you and Klay Thompson. Like, that's it.
It's not cool to like Clay right now.
It's always cool to like Clay. I ain't trying to hear that shit, man. Listen, Zion disrespect need to stop. It need to stop now, bro. Like, yo, listen, it need to stop, bro. Yo, I watched him fucking Debo the fuck out of that Raptor squad the other night, bro. It was, bro, he was little boying them.
With one hand, and he can't play no defense.
He's playing a little defense. Good defense.
He's playing a little defense.
Yeah, he's playing way better defense, bro. They on the left. Going to the left, bro.
Yeah, you can't stop him.
Mars, newsflash, bro. He don't need no fucking right.
He's still not top 30. He's still not a top 30 player.
Yeah, he did.
Still?
He
He's still... One game is gonna make me say he's a top 30 player.
He's a top 5 player?
It's not.
Top 30.
Wait. Did he say top? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He's like top 25.
He's not a top 30 player.
He's probably top 30.
He's not in my top. He's not in my top 30.
Listen, bro. Look, bro. Give me 30 players better than him right now.
I'm about to ask you more.
I'm a read the list. I made the list. I made the list because
you're supposed to make a list.
I swear I've heard this list like 3 different times.
You guys can count it out and see where you want to stop. These are players I think are better.
The list is horrible, bro. Like,
okay, well, I haven't read it.
Zion is running through the league right now, bro.
That's cool.
Well,
Luka. My list is good. My list is fantastic. Luka, Embiid. Luka, Embiid, Giannis, Ja, Steph, Tatum, KD,
let him finish too.
SGA, Donovan Mitchell, Dame, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Booker, Trae Young, Kyrie, Pascal Siakam, PG, DeMar, AD, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, Jokic, Brandon Ingram, Zach Levine, I'll take him off. James Harden, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Darius Garland, Karl Anthony Towns, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, DeJounte Murray, Anthony Edwards, Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert. How many names is that?
Bam, you lost me at Bam.
How many names is that?
No, you lost me. You lost me at Towns. That's what you lost me.
How many names is that?
I didn't even hear Towns.
I think it was 30, but you lost me at Towns. Towns is where you lost me.
Yeah, Towns. You can't do Towns, nah.
Especially not this year.
I didn't hear Towns, but yeah, you lost me at Bam.
I take Zion over Towns.
Absolutely,
I take Zion over Towns.
Put Bam in there.
Yeah, Bam Adebayo is
better stop playing with Bam Adebayo. We'll lock up Kareem's bum ass. What
Stop,
bro.
Dub.
Dub is in chat. Dub is in chat.
My bad. I apologize. I drew the line. I crossed the line. I crossed the line. I apologize. That was a line I shouldn't have crossed.
Dub
is in
chat.
Stop. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Towns this year hasn't been because he's not even knocking out his threes. I think he's shooting like sub 30.
Then he came into the year sick or something. Like he was sick and all.
Yeah. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of Towns. That's what it is.
So he hasn't been great this year. He hasn't been great this year. He's still a better player than Zion.
No, he is not, Mars. Mars, you're chatting.
He's better than Zion.
What did you say?
You said DeRozan and Gobert.
What did you say?
No, he's not.
DeRozan is another stretch too.
DeMar DeRozan is better than Zion Williamson as well.
Yeah, that's another stretch.
Until you get to the first round of the playoffs, but
outside
Zion hasn't played in the playoffs, so I can't even use the playoff argument.
Mars, can I ask you this?
Hold
on. Can I ask you this, Mars? Can I ask you this? Is CJ McCollum better than Zion Williamson?
Yes. Not this season. He's been horrible.
No. A healthy.
The future is now.
What do you mean a healthy?
Hey.
No, I think Zion's the second best player on this team.
It's not even healthy, bro. They like Brown is carrying.
I don't mind Brandon Ingram.
Hey, the disgust on his face, bro, as he was leading the list was crazy. Y'all see that?
No, I was reading my list, but
no,
Zion's not in my top 30, and at best that he wouldn't be top 25.
You know you can't argue and defend the Towns.
I think Towns is a better player than Zion Williamson. I think he's better offensively. I just think he's better offensively. I think he scores better. I think he passes better.
How does he score better?
Because this year he hasn't scored better, but I think generally he scores better.
You didn't put Rudy Gobert up there, did you?
I did.
You did.
Jesus Christ.
Can I ask you something, Mars?
I mean, Rudy Gobert is the best player on his team.
Does Gobert's defense weigh out Zion's offense? I'm genuinely curious.
Yep.
No.
Easily.
I don't know, bro.
Easily.
I don't agree with that.
Yo, leave.
Okay.
I think it sounds like your mic is far away.
Passing this year has been like a lot better. And like when he's playing the point last year.
I'm gonna mute your mic so you can fix it.
I can't give you Rudy either.
You don't have to. Like I said, he's not in my top 30, and at best, he's not in the top 25. To me, he's not top 30. At best, he's not top 25.
Most of it was legit, except for like trio.
Like,
no, I don't know, Mars. Especially if you talking about this year,
I don't do it based on this year. It's how I know you.
No, I think he was just
unless I see that you've clearly declined as a player. Yes, Karl Anthony Towns missing more threes doesn't make him worse than Zion to me. I think the percentage will come around. I don't think he's going to shoot 30% the whole year.
It's debatable if you're talking about like the whole thing.
I'm not gonna say off like 18 games, Karl Anthony Towns can't shoot anymore.
It's his mind, bro. Anthony Edwards is pissed off. He can't even get a dunk off over there. Them niggas is clogging up the damn paint, bro. Rudy Gobert offers nothing to that team, bro. Zion, bro, have you not seen Zion in this past 2 weeks?
Nothing
dominating, bro.
So wait. My follow up, then why would Tyrese be that high then?
I think Tyrese Halliburton was great last year, and I think last year he was still better than Zion Williamson. Like this is just who I think.
Hey, real talk. On the what was that thing y'all had? The little who let Ron debate?
But I ain't sure.
What do you mean?
That Ron versus Steve James. Who let him do that?
He did good though.
Tyrese Halliburton was great last year.
Ron did his thing.
No, that was.
What do you mean great? How he played basketball very well.
You did get robbed though. I ain't gonna lie. You did get robbed.
Ron did well.
No, you did get robbed. I honestly and not personally, I think it's just two different people having two different styles.
The Tyrese Halliburton SGA.
That's just me personally.
I need to know.
Because you got him on the that kind of pissed me off.
I watch OKC more than New Orleans. To be honest.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you see that?
Pardon?
Bro. Indiana games too.
I watched like 6 Indiana games.
I don't mind putting Tyrese over him, but if your argument is that you're not gauging it off of what he's doing so far this year, I
value what he's doing last year. I'm just saying it's not like I'm not gonna say LeBron's not a top 10 player because of what he's done this year.
I know, but even last year what Tyrese was doing wasn't good enough to say he's over what we all believe Zion's.
What he did last year plus what he's doing this year, I think he's a better player than
Okay,
Zion.
so what we know Zion was before this year plus what he's doing.
Zion still wasn't that good to me. That's why I'm saying he still wasn't that good.
You think somebody
I don't know. I don't know what's it gonna take, bro. But like Zion, the way it's looking.
Zion being great at more than one thing would help.
You don't think him initiating the offense?
Him grabbing 3 offensive rebounds a game
off his own misses, sure, great. Like
I mean, I can't. It can't be.
Wait.
Zion. I agree. He's a great offensive rebounder. If they're off his own misses, that's not moving. He could have just made the layup initially, and I wouldn't like the offensive rebounder would look worse.
You know who else used to do that?
That's not what he's doing.
That's cool. Like him being he's a good offensive rebounder, but also a lot of them come off his own misses. Like just made the layup that wasn't happening, so it's not moving.
But if he made
Andre Drummond averaged 15 rebounds off his own misses.
Yeah, and I've never liked Andre Drummond.
But if he made even more of his shots, so he'd be shooting like 75% in the restricted area, which would be like at historic pace.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
I like players.
He's doing that odd crazy dunk too. I don't get it.
He still can only finish with his left hand.
So who's your favorite player?
Who's my favorite player? That's cool. That's all he needs. I'm not saying he's a great scorer. I'm saying he's a great scorer.
No,
he's definitely not a top 25 player. He's not in my top 30.
That's what I'm hung up on because like, every time he's like taking control of the offense.
I've never denied Zion's ability to put the ball in the basket. It's everything else.
Great. What makes you great in the NBA is your ability.
As a basketball player, I get what Mars is saying.
I'm just saying what he provides to me. I think I can get more things provided for me.
But it's your advantage, bro.
All right.
How does that
he's just not that good. Like I don't know.
Bro, you yelling so hot. You yelling so loud. Your mic can't.
The playmaking is there as well, so I don't even know what I'm still kind of confused.
He's been like
I'm just
every
not
time he's been at the
Zion's
point for the offense of the Pelicans, like the offense has gone way up.
He is a good player.
Yeah, I'm just not as high on
Zion. He should be a better rebounder.
How good do you think Larry Bird will be in this era? Dub,
I like Larry Bird. I think he'll be good.
How good do you think he'll be in this era? You think?
I think he'll be like a top 10 guy.
Low.
Top 5.
I ain't gonna lie. When you put your top 10, I even noticed you had Larry Bird. You didn't have Larry Bird in there. I didn't notice it.
I have a problem with your top 10, Low. I hate it.
No, I like it. No, he don't.
I forgot Lou's top 10. I just know Duncan's at 5. That's all.
I've been rocking with Low.
And Duncan is fine at 5.
I
don't have a problem with it. It's just the only one I remember. It's just the only one.
2017.
I have a problem with Magic.
Tim Duncan definitely top 5.
It's Bron, MJ, Kareem, Magic, Duncan, right?
No, Bron is second. MJ, MJ, Bron, Kareem, Magic, Duncan, Russell, Kobe.
I think I took a snapshot.
What's your criteria?
That's ass.
You know, intellect. That's my.
Nah. What's your criteria?
Everything.
Intellect, bro. Look, yo, listen.
Yeah, Magic's never gonna be
everything. I don't think you could provide. I don't think you could provide.
Bro. Just don't put Curry in that shit, please, bro. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, this guy hates Steph Curry.
But Curry is a top 10 player.
I don't think anybody could. I don't think anybody could have a valid argument for Magic being top 5. Other than
what the fuck? What?
Magic Johnson just ain't going above Larry Bird for me.
If you're extremely offensive leaning, you could have him up there. Or if you have just impact on like just the ability to just win ball games, he's easily in that conversation.
I think Larry Bird is a better basketball player.
I hate that argument. I hate that win basketball argument.
I mean, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point of why they're playing.
Why does it not matter?
Well, I know that's the point, but it's easy to win games when you're all time, and you know this, Lo. He's on an all-time supporting cast.
Yeah, but even when the all-time supporting cast wasn't there, even when the all-time.
Yeah, I mean, in '91 they was in the finals.
Yeah, 91
without Kareem.
And that wasn't all-time great.
But we had,
that wasn't all-time great team.
Of course. I mean,
wait. Let
me hold on. There's a lot of people talking right now. I'd like to answer one question at a time. Okay. So Magic Johnson came into the league with the all-time supporting cast, and I'm not gonna sit here and shit on his impact. He definitely has a great level of impact, which is why I think he's in the top 10. And when that supporting cast did start deteriorating, he was able to keep them in finals relevancy. But I hear a lot of guys try to discredit Stephen Curry for having Kevin Durant. I hear a lot of guys trying to discredit Kobe Bryant for having Shaquille O'Neal, and I don't understand that. Kobe Bryant went to 3 straight finals with a less supporting cast than Magic Johnson ever had in his career, but you don't get a lot of love for that.
But he didn't play like the team.
And he went to 3 straight finals.
He didn't play the
basketball is a team sport.
Magic played like super teams.
To sit here and just lean on the argument that Magic is better than Kobe or like other guys just because he wins more games is just a weak argument.
Well, he didn't impede on winning though. That's also the other point.
But what's the other points? Because you talked about winning games.
Kobe actually impeded on a lot of games.
Do you think Kobe played better?
And that's why you knock him
in the finals.
That's my biggest gripe on Kobe is that he impeded his team in winning in certain situations.
Do you think
about 2004, right? 2004
in various ways, but there's various ways in which he impeded his team.
Do you think?
You think Kobe top 5? You think Kobe top 5 is ludicrous, bro?
If he is, he's like literally 5th. Like I think Duncan is better than Kobe.
Yeah, Duncan's better than.
He had a better career.
No, he had.
He's better.
Why is Duncan better than Kobe?
He had a better career.
Lewis spoke about Duncan more than any other player. Why is he?
Look, man, I'm just telling you, man. Duncan is that guy, man.
I understand why.
I like
Duncan above Kobe, but I think Duncan had a better
career. And before anybody say it, the system is there because of Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was the system.
Yeah, I hate the system. The system player argument doesn't make sense because the Spurs changed their system way too many times.
Because you can't fit another. I can't see another power forward fitting into that system like Duncan.
Yes, 90% of people to explain.
There was no system, but there was no Spurs way before Tim Duncan.
Yeah, exactly. That's why when they say like Steph Curry, I don't think any other great point guard would be as good as Steph in that Warrior system. That's just
Curry's without a doubt top 10.
Got to pack up without a doubt. It's top because
got to pack up Larry Bird.
I don't know what it is with Larry Bird with you, but
pack him up.
If you don't care about 60s players, he's like default top 10. But I mean, some people still value Bill Russell.
When I do rank the 60s guys,
I would still take Bird. I would still take Bird over Curry right now. But I get it though. I get it though. I get what you. I get.
That's ludicrous. That fraud.
sorry.
Wait, you was gonna say who over Curry?
Hey,
Gub,
that should
never
be a
gonna
real
put
fraud
Larry
right there,
Bird
man. That
behind
should be a
Magic
real
Johnson.
fraud. Larry
Who?
Bird.
Who? Larry Bird?
Yeah, that should be a real fraud. Man.
Why? Because he needed Dennis Johnson to go to win 3 rings.
Everybody needs somebody. I hate that. That shit is annoying.
I will say.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Larry Bird's
like,
scoring
when
is
they talk about that
definitely
Shaq, when they talk
overrated. I
about,
will
when
say
they talk
that.
about like Shaq and Kobe, I'm like, man,
You
dumb.
do? You think that Mars?
Yeah, I think Larry Bird's scoring is definitely overrated.
I think a lot of. I think, bro.
But other than that, I don't see many.
Let me not even.
I don't have many gripes. I think Larry Bird's just better.
No.
But I don't like.
That's interesting. I didn't even notice he was actually on top 10 until he said something. I was like, huh? But I see your point though. I'm not.
As long as Scottie Pippen in your top 10,
one in my top 10, bro. Like for real, bro.
Scotty not even top 5.
Oh yeah, I have Olajuwon in my top 10 as well.
Scotty not even top 5 in his own position.
I like one below.
Will and Bird are the 2 that are not in my top 10.
Lo, I do want
I can respect Wilt not being there.
Lo, I do want to hear your points on why Magic Johnson is top 4 for you.
Again, bro, I said it, bro.
I don't like it. I think it's a terrible argument, honestly.
If it's solely because of the resume,
it's solely because of the resume. That's all I'm hearing. You said Kobe Bryant. Don't get me wrong. I can't dispute that there has been times in Kobe Bryant's career where he did impede winning. I think all the good. I think all the good that he's done outweighs the bad. Especially when Magic Johnson wasn't a better scorer or a better defender, and both of them had a tremendous impact on winning.
Who's a better defender, Curry or Kobe?
Curry?
No, Curry or Kobe.
Yeah, Curry or Kobe?
Who's a better defender?
No, you better stop fucking playing.
I'm asking you.
I mean, if you really think about it,
You better stop. Boy, this is the point I'm making. The argument I'm about to make is that yes, we're getting caught up in like all around versus like what were you asked to do and how it impacted the game in terms
and that's
of like
most important.
And that's way more because a lot of times these players
no. My bad, Lo. I ain't mean to cut you off, bro, but my problem is, bro, everybody got accolades, team, player, bro. My thing is the separator, bro. Separates all these players, bro, each from the other, bro. Like, because we know what separates Jordan from all the rest of these dudes, bro. Like, what he accomplished in such a short amount of time. He played 11 full seasons for Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like, I keep the only reason why I keep Kareem, Bill Russell, and Wilt top 5 because I didn't see him. My thing is like, to me, when I look at Jordan at his very best, Kobe, Shaq, me and you both are high on,
I'm high on Duncan.
Olajuwon, and all these other dudes, bro. I think it's disrespectful to put Curry anywhere near any of them.
Why is it disrespectful?
Why?
It's disrespectful to put Curry there. It's disrespectful to put Magic Johnson there. I swear to God.
It's not.
Why?
I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't think it's disrespectful to say
This is
Steph
Magic
is
and
best
this is
on
Steph.
those guys' level.
This is Magic and this is Steph.
Bro, like,
What is the separator?
You're talking about the greatest basketball players of all time. None of this is disrespectful.
Curry gets his, bro. Like,
Who is somebody has like a television in the background going?
Yeah,
somebody got TV in the background.
But Lee, put your AirPods in your head because it's not helping.
Yeah, it's not helping.
My bad. Nah, because I'm just making sure y'all can hear.
I hear you better now.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I hear me better now. All right, now listen, bro. Like, the separator, bro, is like, it's not even the accolades, bro, because the eye test tells me that Jordan, Kobe, even LeBron, Kawhi, every last one.
Kawhi.
Your high test.
I said it. I said Kawhi. Yes,
I was with you.
Wait, what are you saying? What is the separator? I need to know what the separator is.
He's saying his eye test is separator.
It's emotional.
The separator is separate. No, it's not emotional, bro. The separator is how Curry gets his, bro. When I'm watching Curry, bro, when I see Curry get 30 points,
make you feel good.
It's coming off of down screens, bro. It's coming off of all
these
basketball.
Wait, so what you want him to do? What you want him to do?
Wait. Let him finish. Go ahead.
You want him to post up from the mid range and shoot a post fade.
No. I'm just
This is disgraceful.
Compared to Kobe, everybody that's on that top 10, they all got their shit through the mud. They carried. They got move the fuck out the way.
You sound like Ticket right now.
So what did Curry do last year?
What did he do the other year before that? We did the year
Used
before
illegal
that.
screens and traveled.
What was Curry doing last year?
What did he do before that?
So what was Curry doing last year? After he broke that record in the Garden, bro, he was struggling. You know it.
That was before that, but yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about the entire year, including the postseason. What
All
was he
right,
doing?
The postseason, he had a lot of help, bro. Come on, look who the fuck they played.
Everybody
they
got
played
help, though.
No, bro. Listen, you saying everybody got help, bro? It's not everybody got help, bro. Like, come on, bro. We ain't named. I ain't even
All
go
the
through
five.
a lot.
No. I need him to answer this question because Curry last year was, as Curry's career has progressed, he's been way more ball dominant in these last 2 to 3 years, including this season. Last year, Denver was the first round.
It's not by much. It
is by much. He's way more ball dominant now.
Have
you seen his finishing is so much better.
He's taking way more. He's taking way more shots now. He's taking way more.
He's taking way more shots because the team is not that deep as they used to be. When they had Iggy and Sean Livingston,
and he still won a championship last year.
I understand that, bro, but look who the fuck they played.
Jason Tatum, the Boston Celtics, one of the best teams in the league.
New York Knicks.
So they played the Dallas Mavericks. They played the Dallas. They played the Dallas. They played the Dallas Mavericks, who were like a top 10 defense. I think the Grizzlies was also a top 10 defense or a top 5
You're not
defense.
making your argument.
And then they played the Boston Celtics, who were the second best, who were tied with the best ranked defense in the NBA with them. What are you saying?
If you want to, however you want to spin it, bro. Like, listen, my eyes.
That's a facts. It's not spinning nothing. That's a facts.
Nah, listen, you could go ahead and name off ranks and whatever, bro. My eye test tell me different, bro.
Your eye test is worthless.
So what did it tell you in the finals when Marcus Smart?
In the finals, it just told me that Boston, bro, was just turning the ball over. That's all it was, bro. Like,
This is the dumbest.
What's that going to do with Steph's offense?
That has nothing to do with Curry scoring. That had nothing to do with Curry scoring. That had nothing to do with.
Unless you're saying Steph was just scoring in transition.
Curry more than Doug until now.
There's an argument you can make too, but like this is just not good.
I could break down. Listen, if I could break down to everybody up in here, bro, how Curry get his 30 bit by bit, bro. If he guarded heavily, he gonna use the offhand to push off and then get a shot off. They never call that shit.
Everybody does that.
He also gets fouled a lot.
Hold on, let me finish. He went down 10,000 illegal fucking screens, and y'all call it gravity.
He also gets fouled a lot, and they don't call it either.
Y'all call it gravity. That's a bar. That's a bar. Y'all call it gravity. That's a bar.
Hey, he sound like my dad right now.
He gets fouled a lot, bro. And you real biased because you and Dub hate. Because you and Dub hating. So
this is like the first Steph Curry hater I've ever liked.
It's not even competent hate. It's not even competent hate.
It's not even valid hate. You're not even saying.
We talking about scoring. We talking about scoring, and he said the Boston Celtics turning the ball over. Like that had nothing to do with scoring.
Yelling and you sound stupid. That's what's crazy.
No, it's not stupid, bro. Y'all see the same. What are y'all not seeing that I'm seeing, bro?
You're the only one seeing it.
Again, against the Celtics, he was extremely ball dominant.
Yeah, he was torching them.
He was extremely ball dominant against the Celtics.
He torched the defensive player of the year last year.
He got the Magnus in the rim. That's why he made him.
I'm the only one acknowledging.
What was the primary reason why the Warriors won the series last year?
Like Sam be saying on TikTok. They robots, right?
Also, by that logic, then you can say the same thing about Shaq. It's not like Shaq was ultra skilled. Shaq was just literally just moving his body into people and getting into the paint.
That's like saying LeBron's like. I mean,
that's by your logic. That's what you're saying.
I didn't see LeBron just lower his shoulder and throw somebody.
I didn't even break down the rest of the shit.
No, your logic is that
you can't break down the rest of the stuff because you have no point.
All you heard is that he guarded heavily, bro. He used the offense. It's a lot of shit that Curry get away with.
There's a lot of things that Shaq got away with. There's a lot of things that Shaq got away with. There's a lot of things that LeBron gets away with.
Bro, everybody, bro.
What are you talking about?
Jordan got away with a push off on one of the biggest shots ever.
Yeah, he pushed the best out of it. He pushed the dogs.
He listen.
He damn near pushed. He damn near pushed by
Kawhi traveled the hell out when he hit that shot against Philly. Kawhi's traveled crazy.
As much as I wanna, as much I would love to hear more Steph Curry hate. I'm gonna be real. Is Magic Johnson even better than Stephen Curry?
Yes.
I think Steph's a better player.
And this is really what Dub wants to get to. That's all he wants to
I think Steph's better.
That's where he wanted to go with it.
I would take Magic.
Because listen, I'm tired. I'm tired. Listen, I am tired of the lies that these old fucks be talking about.
It's really what
people
so
talk
here,
about.
I'm gonna give you this one.
No, he talking about Floyd. Affluent.
People talk about impact on winning this, impact on winning that. Magic Johnson had damn near the best supporting cast in NBA history.
But look
how
he's playing.
Wait. Let me finish. Stephen Curry gets hate for having Kevin Durant though. Why?
Does he really get that much hate, or does Kevin?
Because the way
it depends who you talk to. It
depends on who you talk to. Okay,
depends on who you talk to for sure.
Yeah.
So when I look at Stephen Curry and Magic Johnson, right? Both of them played with supreme talent.
Yes.
I would argue that Stephen Curry actually won with a lesser supporting cast than Magic Johnson did, especially when Kareem fell off. And Steph Curry had to have a Jordan Poole and a hurt Klay Thompson. On top of that,
is also weaker.
And then 2015. So what I'm saying is, if we have two guys who are greatly impactful on offense, right? They're both not great defenders. We just need to go by what these guys done and the talent of the two. And Stephen Curry is easily more talented than Magic Johnson. 100%.
That's your perspective.
And listen, as individual
but that's your
players.
perspective, though. That's your perspective. If you think, I think
fact.
Magic's more special. Like he's better.
Was the Western Conference?
I think Steph peaked. I think Steph peaked higher than Magic. I have Magic above Steph because I need to see Steph.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I'll just disagree with you then.
He was playing.
I wouldn't even say that, bro. Like, listen, I put it to you this. I start this shit off by saying, bro, like we seen what Magic did without Kareem in the lineup, and we seen what motherfucking Curry did when Klay went down, bro. Nothing. He gave you nothing in the fourth quarter of that 2019 series.
Don't you dare use that.
No,
don't you dare use that. No.
Hey, can y'all send him back to the crowd? Because he wilding.
Oh man,
This guy reminds me of Skip Bayless.
Let's dispute Magic. I just want to dispute Magic.
No, clip him up, bro.
Please,
Magic.
Let's stay on the Magic train, please.
I gotta continue my point, bro. Hold up, because it matters, bro. Listen, this is what happens when you send a 3-point specialist to do a two-way star's job. Kawhi knew what the fuck he was doing, bro. It was about to happen in 2017, and they sent Zaza
Steph played better than Kawhi in the 2019.
He did play better.
Kawhi was hurt in the finals, but
Dub. Did Magic play great teams in the finals?
In the finals, yes, but the 80s West.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
'80s West was.
He had a great team, but I'm saying he played great team. Like he's playing great teams in the finals. So it ain't like it's like. They just doing
Steph was
you know?
playing LeBron. I mean, Steph
don't you dare bring up those six.
He played. No, not 2015. I won't bring 2015.
2015 and 2018 is a no.
Yeah, 2015 and 2018.
2018 is a no.
Oh, 2018
I was about to say, dog. What are you cocking up for?
No. Cocking up.
Hey, pause.
What you talking about?
Pause.
Okay. I almost got mad, Lord. Like, what the hell? Why you talking like this for? What the fuck did I do?
What was the question that you got asked?
Bro, you've been screaming for 20 minutes.
Earlier, bro.
Hey, leave. Chill, bro. Please.
I think.
I want to answer the question real quick.
I don't know. I mean,
what was the question that he got earlier, bro? Like, give me one honest championship that the Golden State Warriors won.
Last
year.
You just saw one.
2021, I mean.
No, 2022 wasn't honest because Boston turned the ball over.
2017.
Literally last year, you just saw one.
Is on.
Last year.
Like, you really a hater, bro, and it's crazy.
Yes, it is.
You just saw one. You just saw
one. You
No,
logic. You just hate because you don't like fam. That's crazy.
You just saw one.
Does you think 2017 is?
No, I'll give 2017 because even though
2017 and last year.
Bro, last year, bro, you just saw one.
You saw
what is honest though? What is honest? So what is honest?
I also watched Jordan Poole grab motherfucking John Moran's knee, bro.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh no.
Hey, can I ask you something though? Can I ask you something? Oh bro, AirPods.
This is the biggest D ride I ever seen in my life. I ain't gonna lie.
Can I ask you
This is
something?
crazy. I don't know what
Can I
Steph
ask you
Curry did
something?
to you. I don't know what Steph Curry
Go
did
ahead,
to you.
Massive. Go ahead,
All right.
Massive.
So do you hope when Isaiah won his championship against the Lakers, Kareem and Magic got hurt?
Yeah.
Do you hold that against him though? Do you say his championship not honest? Would you say his championship not honest?
Talk me or Leaf.
He should have won it the year before.
But I'm saying, do you count it honest though?
That was revenge. That's all that was, bro.
But he was hurt though. But they were hurt though.
Was it?
But
you don't give the Warriors the fact that 2019 they got hurt.
No.
You don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that means nothing.
He's not reverse cowboying right now. This is crazy.
No, I don't, bro. Because Kevin Durant tried to shortcut the league. Next question. Come on, man.
Shortcut the league. Oh my god.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like you can't.
You a fan for real, bro. This is
but
crazy.
you can't do that though. You can't just say, "Oh, well, somebody got hurt," because everybody get hurt. But you don't do that with all the old heads.
We gonna get a new string of guests on here. Thank you guys for bringing in the heat. That was real for real, bro. Appreciate you guys.
You on just off the strength, bro. Like you the finals, bro.
Drop y'all socials
what
in
they
the
saying,
link,
man.
please.
Like, word up.
Drop y'all
Fuck
socials
Steph,
in the
man. That's on my mama, man. Word up.
Wow.
Let them go.
If you want me to answer for real though, Dub, Magic came into the NBA first year. I think he took a 40-some win ball club and turned into a 60-win team. That in the same year they won a championship. I don't even think Kareem should have won MVP that season. I think Dr. J should have, because people just they might have just vastly underrated Magic's impact that year. The following year, when Magic wasn't 100% healthy, they didn't make it out the first round, and then going right back to the finals and win the championship the year after that. If I'm not mistaken, I think every year between I want to say like 83 to like 91, Magic was anchoring a top 5 offense. If I'm not mistaken, every year. I could be wrong, but I think for a good portion of his career, he's anchoring a top 5 to top 3 offense in the league. Sometimes historically great offenses. And we know for a fact that he's the one who's anchoring them, because before Magic got there with some of those players, they were not that good offensively. And then even when Kareem and Michael Cooper and a lot of the other players got older and were not as impactful, they were still able to uphold that standard throughout the entire 80s, even into 91.
But weren't those players getting replaced by other guys?
Who was replacing Kareem? AC Green?
No, not Kareem. I'll give you Kareem, but I'm talking about like James Worthy was replacing like the other four, like Jamal Wilkes, AC Green were replacing Norm Nixon, Byron Scott came in. Like he still had a good supporting cast.
Byron Scott, Norm Nixon to Byron Scott is a drop off. The bench just progressively got worse because there was nobody replacing like Bob McAdoo and Michael Cooper either. And then again, even by the time we got into like 88 and all the way to 91, they were not only still making deep postseason runs and competing for a championship and won a championship, bro. It was when Kareem was putting up like 13, 14 points and Michael Cooper is doing little to nothing for the team anymore.
So I will argue for Stephen Curry is that I think Steph and Magic Johnson somewhat have similar careers. Stephen Curry, he didn't have to start like Magic Johnson, of course.
I'm about to say that would be
we can all accept that. But when they were competing for titles, both of them led historic offenses. Both of them have a historic impact on offense as well. Both of them aren't really great defenders. I think Stephen Curry has actually grown in the last 2 years to be damn near a better defender than Magic Johnson. And they both had a great supporting cast as well. And Stephen Curry, especially now what he's doing, I mean, you highlighted this before. Even the fact that everybody else is deteriorating, he is still able to impact a team to win a championship like last season and even keep them to compete this season. So I think Stephen Curry and what he's doing and what Magic Johnson has done is very similar to each other. And I think that when we're talking about Magic and Stephen Curry, I think it's fine to lean more on talent. And who do you think will be more favorable to your team? I think Stephen Curry and the three-point shooting he provides is just something that nobody can replace.
From 85 to 1990, they had the number one ranked offense every year except for one. And then in 91, when everybody was gone and they changed a lot of those players, some of which were like fairly young, they still had the top 5 offense. And that was with 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 players who are basically rookies and sophomores, and 2 of which are receiving quality minutes, and still was a top 5 offensive team and nearly 60 wins in 91.
And what about Steph Curry and his offense? Like
right now, if I'm not mistaken, the Warriors are not. They're not a top 5 offense.
No, not right. Not
No,
this
not
year.
by
You
any
can't
stretch.
use this year. We gotta wait till the end of the year.
Last season, they were
last
not a
year.
top 5 offense.
Okay.
They were in the playoffs, but they weren't in the regular
Well,
season.
listen, they wasn't a top 5 offense because, well, y'all know that Steph Curry went through that little shud.
Well, that ain't got nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with Magic Johnson. That's an argument. That's a knock against Curry.
The offense didn't get worse with
I
Steph
agree
Curry
with you.
shooting
Listen,
for
it's Magic over Curry, like just unanimously. But I wanted to ask y'all, do y'all think that the Warriors benefited from injuries as much as they were also on the other side of it? Because with some injuries, with them in 2016 with Bogut, Iggy was hurt, Steph was also hurt in that 2016 NBA Finals, but in the previous finals, they didn't have to face no Kyrie, no Kevin Love. 2017, they benefited from injuries with Kawhi. 2018, no CP3 in Game 6 moving forward. And then 2019, they were just crippled by injuries the entire time. So with all their championship dynasty runs, do y'all think they benefited from injuries as much as they also reap from it as well?
I think you just answered your own question. Like 2019,
more.
2019 was the only year that they were really hurt from injuries. But then other than that, they had multiple.
What about 2016 and 2021?
Huh?
What about
2021?
2021?
Klay Thompson didn't play.
But let's
2020, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson didn't play. I think they missed 2 years of competing.
I guess, but this is just a bad. I mean, it's not a bad argument, but nobody doesn't go through the history of any other player and does this. I don't know why we're doing this for them.
And
because it's recent.
It's because it's happening.
It's happening right now. Yeah, that's
20 years from now. 20 years from now, this isn't going to be spoken
Honestly,
about.
no one's gonna care. But since it's happening right now, we can actually talk about it.
But do you think the Warriors win in both 2020 and 2021 if they're entirely healthy?
I mean, 2021.
2020, actually, that's actually
if we want to do this and say Klay Thompson doesn't get hurt in the finals and Klay Thompson just plays every year healthy, I think
they could
have a very valid chance of winning.
I actually think they could,
because then we're just getting Klay's prime to continue. Steph Curry is still Steph Curry. Draymond Green is still Draymond Green. Then you end up getting Andrew Wiggins. I still think that team can compete in 2020, and in 2021, I wouldn't be surprised if they won.
Yo, can I say something? I wanted to say something to that. 2 things. First off, shout to that fucking debate podcast I had. That shit was fire. I couldn't be a judge to it because it was too hard to say who won it on either side. There was a lot of good arguments. I watched every one of them, and a lot of them, all of them. Well, I didn't watch the football one. Shout out to Rated R Sports. I didn't see that one. I'm gonna check that one. And that was a football one. I'm more of a basketball guy, but I definitely see Dubs and Fluent. Definitely seen Mars and Ticket. And it was another Elder and Chill. Fire. But just to add to the conversation, Curry, he said at the podium, he said, y'all don't want to see us next year. And the very next year they won it. So respectfully, maybe they would have won it that season. You know what I'm saying? If he's saying if Curry, if Klay was here with us, we would have won it. And then the very next year they win it. I mean, you got to give credit to that because he did back what he said. But I just wanted to throw a shot, not a shot, but at Chilltown, and because of the title, it's called Old Media Lies About Older Players. And what I will say is, I'm a Nets fan. I'm a big fan. Breezy with the Brooklyn Nets vlog, and I do, I research the Nets, and I think Dr. J was really like that. You know what I'm saying? He had some game winners. And when I looked at his stats, I did it while I was listening to Legend of Winning. Shout out to Legend of Winning, Mars and Dubs, man. I'm a fan of all y'all. He played a lot of games, bro. He in the first rookie season, he played every game. The second year, every game. The third year, every game. The fourth year, every game. The fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and the ninth year is the first game he missed 2 games, and then the 10th year he missed 6 games, and the last year he missed 5 games. So yes, when you say old media lies about older players, this shit might be the truth. I'm saying Dr. J is the truth, and I'm saying that to shout to Chilltown. I know I heard Elder cooking with him, and Chilltown was like, I used to be a Dr. J fan, and this, that, and the third. So shout to you if you ever want to do something with that, we could. But otherwise, it's straight smoke for the Philadelphia 76ers. You know how it go. But yeah, I just wanted to play the back. I just wanted to say that, man. Yeah, this is a dope podcast. I'm a big fan of it.
Appreciate the love, man. Dr. J was probably better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if I'm gonna be real.
Damn.
Oh my
God.
Come on, man.
Nah, let me stop playing.
He's just talking.
Yeah, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, bro.
Yeah, but I do think Dr. J is like kind of disrespected. I do think he's like one of the best players we've ever seen. I have him over KD all time personally, but I think
wow.
I think that's where around where he is. I think that's where he is, like in that realm.
So what's that, like 11 to 15 for you?
Well, wait, Mars.
I think I have him about 15.
Do you count what he did in the ABA too?
I try to. There's not much ABA footage I can find. What I can find, I watch, and I think he was better in the ABA because the pace was higher. It was more open games. I think he benefited from that. But what I do count of the ABA, it goes into it. But I'm not gonna act like I've seen a multitude of ABA games because there's just not that many that I can find. So it's a lot more of what I see in the NBA.
Yo, can I add something to that, Dub? I mean, Mars and Dub. I'm reading a book. It's called T-Neck to Brooklyn by Rick Laughlin, The History of the Nets. And it goes in talking about the ABA and what Dr. J meant to the ABA. And for one, both ABA and NBA used to draft from the same colleges, for one. For two, Dr. J was the face of the ABA for many reasons. One of the reasons is because they brought kind of like a pizzazz, and when I read the book, they go into how the NBA was feed the big man, and that's pretty much the story of the NBA. The ABA was pretty much a fast-paced basketball game, and when they opened up the three-point line, it made guys like Steph Curry important, because in a nutshell, the little guy wasn't important and the big guy was. The bigger your team, the more you're going to win. That's pretty much the name of the game in the NBA, and you can see some of that happening now. But Steph Curry, just to add to y'all point, and with Magic Johnson and Steph Curry dominated that whole situation with the three-point line and making the guy the style of play of the NBA was transition. This is all facts I heard y'all say. I already, I tune in, so I know y'all know this already. I'm not saying it because I don't think y'all know. I'm just saying it to say for the implementation, the reason why the three-point line was implemented was for guys like Steph Curry. He mastered the art. I don't know what other words to use. And yeah, I think Steph Curry should be in these debates with the top 10 with Magic Johnson, respectfully. Even if y'all don't agree that he is better than Magic Johnson, I do see why y'all having a debate, and it's a dope debate. I'm all ears, man. This is a fire debate.
Man, Magic ain't even that good, bro. Just be good, bro.
They got this is why people hate you.
I don't care. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, bro, like, you got him top 5 low. I just can't understand it. I think there's good reason to have Steph over him. And then you brought up, wait, what years did you bring up for the Lakers again that Magic Johnson was leading like rookies and shit? You said 1986 and 1990?
No, I said in 91 he had a good portion of there's a good handful of like younger players who had
the number one. You said number one offense in the league.
No, 91 they were 5th, but that was the year in which, like, even with like very inexperienced players who had no reps with Magic Johnson or little to no reps at Magic Johnson, he still led that team to a top 5 offense.
No, but you brought up number one offense in the league. What year?
Oh, between I think it was like 84 to 1990, you were like number 1 ranked offense every year except for 1 year.
Yeah, I don't really like that point because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was still on the team, and even though
in 1990 he wasn't.
1984, 1985, 1986.
I know, but even when he was off the team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, 1989 Kareem isn't really going to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Don't get me wrong, but don't get me wrong.
I watched him play in the finals.
You use a point, and this is the thing. You use a point about him having younger guys and younger players, and I'm saying that by 1989, all of those guys already had set a foundation of playing with each other. All those guys already set a familiarity of playing with each other. So even though Kareem wasn't there, all of those guys, after years of playing with each other, they could still play at a high level together. So that's why
all those guys,
right?
James, what year did James Worthy get drafted again?
It's just James Worthy and Byron Scott at that point.
Byron
By
Scott,
the
AC Green, a lot of those guys. I think AC Green was having double digits, correct?
But I mean, AC Green doesn't have multiple years by 88, 89. Like he was like that was his second or third year in the league. What are you talking about? He didn't have multiple years.
Second or third year. Wait, when was AC Green drafted? Right?
Like in the mid 80s.
Yeah, like I want to say 84. I'm gonna check just in case.
Yeah, because when Kareem started, what year did Kareem start?
He was in the 85 draft. My fault.
So 85. So it's mid. So
that's 3 years together. What are you talking about, Lo?
But he wasn't a starter in his rookie season. And then he came in. But that argument. Then why isn't that last year when Jordan Poole he played a couple years of Curry? Why isn't that they couldn't become a top 5 offense or a number 1 ranked offense?
What you mean? I mean, no, it's not about it being number 1. What I'm trying to explain to you to have an understanding that even though Kareem was regressing, you had guys there who was able to, with Kareem regressing, understanding their roles and understanding how to play with one another. And Jordan Poole is actually a perfect example because the first year when he actually played a substantial amount of time with Stephen Curry, he wasn't the same Jordan Poole as he was 2021, but then the very next year he understand the flow and the rhythm of how to play with him, and they were able to play at a high level. That matters, right?
Oh yeah, that matters.
That matters, but that's not
AC Green. It's not about
sophomore. AC Green is not replacing semi-prime or declining Kareem. That's not replacing that level of production.
It's not about that, but it's the team dynamic of the sport, and understanding the system and how to play with each other is extremely important. So nobody's not saying
it's extremely important. Though we're talking about. Let me also be clear. We're not even just talking about the number 1 ranked offense. I think in like 88 or 87. They were like +7 above league average. They were like historically great offensively. You don't run across a historically great offensive team with a bunch of inexperienced players or semi-experienced players with an aging Kareem on a roll. Like that doesn't happen, dog. There's players who are great offensively who spend multiple years with one another who don't peak at that level of offense. What are we talking about?
No. What are you talking about? You're sitting here saying that you're saying AC Green, Byron Scott, all those guys that they could not sit here and have an understanding of playing with each other under.
It's a difference of having.
What are you talking about?
It's a difference between understanding and performing at a historic height. Yeah. It's a difference between being a really good defensive team and then being one of the best defensive teams in NBA history. Those are two different marks.
Okay. Nah, bro, I'm not gonna
it's
hold
not
you. That
80s. What are you talking about?
That 80s. I understand. I like the historic defense, but
it is. They were playing at a historic level offensively.
Listen, I just can't sit here and use that as a point to just sit here and put Magic Johnson over Stephen Curry. I don't think that's a valid argument to have, in my opinion.
No, well, the argument is just rebutting the conversation or argument of you saying that he had all that talent, and even when the talent was regressing,
that wasn't my point. That wasn't my point.
I'm in general. Even when the talent was regressing and or not on the team, he was still able to sustain that level of excellence offensively. That cannot be said about Curry on that side of the floor. It just can't be.
I think you're underrating the team dynamic of everything, bro. I think it's more than just Magic Johnson. It's more than just Magic Johnson them playing at that.
But by that logic, then why? All right. So by the end of this year, they should be the number 1 ranked offense, right? Because they still got Draymond, Clay, and Curry, right?
Who?
The Warriors.
No, bro, that's not the logic.
I mean, the starting 5 is
that's not the logic because all of those guys aren't the same caliber of what they used to be.
It's the same, Dub. It's the same thing. What are you talking about, Dub?
No, bro, what are you talking about? It's the same thing.
Kareem was not the same level of player in 87 that he was in 80.
You're sitting here saying that I should assume the fact that Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, that they should have the number 1 offense. And I'm saying no, because there's more things that go into that.
Such as what?
Because I don't think the team is that good enough to perform at that high level. And what I'm saying for the Lakers, I think that team was good enough to perform at that high level.
But do you only think they were good enough to do that because they did it?
You said what?
Do you only think they were good enough to be at that level, like a +6, +7 offense, because you look back and see that they did it? So you're like, okay, they were good enough to do that. But if you were there in 1986 and you looked at the pieces and you saw Kareem declining, you saw that they had a young AC Green, you saw James Worthy was still a young player, would you be still thinking they would have had a historic offense?
I can't. That's a great point. I can't speak on that because I didn't live through it. I can't speak on that.
Yeah, but it's easier to say. It's easier to say. I think you look at the team; they had the ability to do it when they've actually done it. And now you're saying the Golden State Warriors can't do it, but they have the same team dynamic. They've been playing together for this many years. Clay and Draymond, they know the system. Jordan Poole now knows the system.
Wiggins knows the system.
But the offense isn't at all-time heights.
But
Whereas
that's
Magic Johnson was playing at all-time heights. That's
Magic Johnson was playing at all-time heights because of what? Because even though they have Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, the teammates that Magic Johnson had was still able to perform. And I think it's more. And I think it's not about Kareem. It's about all the other pieces, not just about Kareem. Low is what I'm trying to tell you.
And Wiggins is performing better offensively now than Harrison Barnes was back in 2015 and 2016. You have Jordan Poole coming off the bench. He should be producing better offensively.
You're saying he should be, but we know what Jordan Poole is doing, right?
Okay, but what I'm saying is at that time, though, as well, you didn't know that those players were going to do that until they actually do it. So that's what we're saying. In the middle of the season, when if I told you, hey, man, Kareem is about to start declining, you're going to have to rely on a rookie AC or sophomore AC Green to become a starter because he's now declining. Michael Thompson is no longer the same player he is either. Like y'all gonna have to. Michael Cooper is also getting older as well. You're gonna have to rely on James Worthy and Byron Scott to be your second and third option. And then the result of that was one of the best offensive teams in NBA history. That's what the results were.
And what I'm saying is that's a great point. But what I'm saying is that that's not just Magic Johnson making all the pieces work together. That's also those guys and those
Nobody's
teammates.
Not saying that. We're saying who had the most impact. Who had more impact to that happening.
And it's not just Magic Johnson.
That's not what I asked you. Who had more impact to that happening?
On the team? Of course it's Magic Johnson.
Okay, so that's
it's Magic Johnson. But when we're comparing Stephen Curry and Magic Johnson, I just don't see that as a valid point because them being that number one offense in NBA history or whichever offense that you ranking is more than just Magic Johnson and his impact. Those players are also doing everything that they have to be doing.
That's the same argument of me saying that Curry also he needed all the things that he needed for him to operate. Like it's
100%.
But I'm saying, at some level, though, regardless of the talent that's around him, the talent that's around him is not good enough to consistently yield the results that were given. That's what I'm saying. So at some point, the excellence and greatness of the individual player is what's carrying them and anchoring them on that side of the floor, regardless of offense or defense. And so what I'm saying is that it didn't matter. The pieces got older, they changed, they got moved around. Hell, even the coach changed because it's not like Pat Riley was coaching his team all the way through 91. So even the coach changed, and yet the result was still the same for Magic. It was still the same.
And all I'm saying that is more than just Magic Johnson and his impact. I just don't agree with that. I just don't agree just giving all of that credit to Magic Johnson. Because like you said before, I agree that Stephen Curry and that team being as impactful as it was is also part of Klay Thompson and Draymond Green doing the things that they do. I think it's wrong to just put all of that impact and all of that credit to Magic Johnson.
But if Klay Thompson gets worse and they're still the number one ranked offense by a mile, and Draymond also has gotten worse offensively. This year he's got
there's other pieces that would need to step up. Stephen Curry's, you said before, Stephen Curry's playing. You said Stephen Curry's probably playing the best in his career, right?
He slowed down a little bit in the last week.
Slowed down a little bit, but even when he was playing the best in his career, what was the offense rank?
I don't know. It wasn't as bad as it is right now, though.
It wasn't as bad as it is right, but it still wasn't top 5. Clearly demonstrating that it's more than just.
It might have been though.
Number 1.
What are we talking about?
No, they like a week or two ago. They might have been a top 5 offense. They might have actually been because right now they're like 8 or 9 or something.
Was ever a top 5 offense in the league or top 1?
Top 1, no.
No, not this year.
I don't think so.
So all I'm saying is, even it's a great example. Even with Stephen Curry playing at arguably his best he's ever played in his career, the other factors of his team is holding the full capabilities of that team. That's all I'm arguing. That yes, Magic Johnson played great, but those teammates were playing great as well, and we just can't.
Why were they playing that great?
And Magic Johnson's part of that. I'm not even disputing that. But you just can't take all of that credit away from the teammates and just put that all on Magic Johnson.
I can't, especially when in '92. In '92, when Magic Johnson wasn't there, that team was trash. They went from a top 5 offense to below average in 1 year. Yeah, I can actually. I actually can do that, Dub. They went from a 58 win team to like a 40-some win ball club. I actually can, Dub.
40-something? You said 50 to 40? That's not a crazy drop off.
I said a 58 to like a 43.
That's not a crazy drop off.
What?
Because 43 is still what? It's a barely is under five. Is it under 500?
Just over.
Just over 500.
It's over by
So
what,
that's
one or two
so
games.
losing a top 10 player in NBA history and still being able to have a positive record without him. That's not that bad, Lo.
Dub, a 60-win team is way different than a 40-win team. That's a big difference.
That's all I'm saying. It's a noticeable drop.
But losing a guy unexpectedly because they didn't even know that this was going to happen because of AIDS. So losing a guy unexpectedly and going from 58 to 43 is not that crazy. That actually shows even further how good the teammates really was if they were able to lose a guy like Magic Johnson and still have a positive record.
If your argument is that they had a positive record by 1 or 2 games, but have at it. The point I'm making though is that the offense, they went from a top 5 offense, even with all those things happening, and all those other players that you're claiming had so much value to the offense, they were not valuable enough to lead them to a quality offensive team the following year when he wasn't there.
No shit, of course, because I'm not discrediting the impact of Magic Johnson. I'm not even doing that. All I'm saying,
you are what?
No,
yes, you are.
All I'm saying is when we compare it to Magic Johnson and Stephen Curry, I just don't see. I just don't see.
Well,
that
I'm giving you facts, and
that's
I mean,
all I'm
I guess
saying.
you still saying you don't get it, so I don't know.
I'm just disputing it. What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I'm giving you a lot of facts, man.
Man, I'm giving you the facts too, bro. I don't know what you talking about. Richie TV with the super chat. What shooting guard in the NBA can take LaMelo Ball to the next level as a duo? And Mars, act like Jokic defensively, won't get torched by Wilt.
Why do you want me to bring? I'm arguing for Jokic. You want me to bring up defense in a Wilt debate? I think Wilt's a better player. Why would I bring up something that would hurt my argument? It's not my fault. Ticket didn't bring up defense. I'm trying to make the best argument I can. I'm not going to bring up something that Jokic clearly loses. That would be dumb. But yes, Jokic would get torched defensively by Wilt. Yes. I mean, I didn't bring it up. I did say defensively Wilt would clear him, but Ticket didn't want to talk about that.
Question from Sheriff. Jordan with Magic or LeBron with Kobe? Prime.
Jordan with Magic.
Yeah, I think easily.
Gotcha. Who's more athletic between Giannis, Blake Griffin, and Zion?
Giannis.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, I guess.
Ozzy, I'm gonna leave you up here, bro. We're gonna get some more guys up here.
Who do you think is?
For me?
No, low, because he's saying he guesses. Like, who you trying to go with?
Blake in his peak was fairly athletic. I think fairly. He was really athletic. He was really athletic.
I agree. Still got Giannis though.
Yeah.
Mars, what's your main argument for Bird over Magic?
I don't want to say playing basketball better. I think he's better. I think he's better defensively. Clearly, like I think Bird was a clear positive defensively. I think Magic is a much better passer and much better playmaker. Magic's a better passer. I think Bird's a better scorer, better shooter, better player off the ball.
He's white.
Sure. Okay, he's white.
What?
I don't know why that was brought up, but I think the culmination of his better off-ball play, clearly better defense, the fact that his passing isn't levels below Magic Johnson in my estimation, would ultimately make me lead me to believe that Bird was an overall better player when I'm comparing them at their peaks. When I do like value
their peaks.
Yeah, that's how I do better players. When I do the value of longevity in their career, I think I have them one spot apart because Bird's early career, the playoff deficiencies are kind of they're there.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that, huh?
So when I look at them in a totality, let me check where I have them. I don't want to.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
represent myself.
I could agree with the fact that Bird's a better player. I should have asked, or do you think that he's greater than Magic?
When I'm looking at greatness, I have Magic at 10 and Bird at 11.
Both of them are tremendous players anyway.
But they're one spot apart. But I think Bird is a better player, and I think he's comfortably a better player. But
so for all-time greatness, you have 9 guys above Magic and Bird.
Oh damn! Very good. LeBron, Mike, Kareem, Russell, Shaq, Hakeem, Duncan, Wilt, Kobe. They're all above Magic and Bird to me.
You get all of them above Magic and Bird?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, Bird, I understand. You understand, Bird. You gotta pack him
Okay,
up.
Mark.
No, what is up?
I agree with Bird. I don't agree with Magic.
Can I ask Mark a question, please?
Go ahead.
Okay, Mars. I have it. Look, I like your takes. I like your takes. I like my guy up there in the top right.
Who, Dub?
Yeah, Dub. I like it. I like y'all guys on the panel. I like a lot of y'all young guys. Y'all got some good basketball knowledge. But my issue with you, Mars, is about John Stockton not being a playmaker.
I never said he's not a playmaker.
Oh, I never said. But I had that same take too, though.
Well, if that's your issue with me, I mean, I never said once he's not a playmaker.
Let me speak my piece.
I got that same take though.
John Stockton, if he's not a top 5 point guard, then what are we talking about?
We talking
this
about
guy.
hold
on. In the traditional sense, because I understand this is a new era, and this is the new era of positionless basketball, where you got a lot of guys is able to play make, right? They get an opportunity to have the ball. People like Giannis playmaking. You got people like Jokic down low, playmaking from the center position. You got different, and then you still got your Chris Pauls is in there. Then you got your volume shooters that are masquerading at point guards like a Steph Curry or a Dame Lillard or a Trae Young. But my thing is this: in a traditional sense, John Stockton is one of the most ultimate point guards of all times, and he makes. Not only just get the ball to Karl Malone, which you should, as a point guard, you should get the ball to the most efficient scorer on the team as much as possible. And that's what he was doing. That's part of the reason why Karl Malone was able to finish his career 3rd time all scoring. John Stockton was a general. He was a coach on the court. He got guys in the right position, right? Because let's put it like this. Traditionally, Utah didn't have a lot of athletes, a lot of athletic guys, right? So Utah was more strategic, they had to play more with their brain, right? So John Stockton got guys involved in the offense to get them better shots that they probably wouldn't be able to get on their own. To me, John Stockton, I got him behind Isaiah, and I got him behind Magic. I got Magic number 1, I got Isaiah number 2, and I got John Stockton number 3.
And that's why he's the most overrated player.
Okay, wait, so
he's good.
Steph Curry's not a point guard, so Steph Curry's not.
So he's good when you remove all the
Oscar
Robinson.
Is
Oscar Robinson not a point guard?
No, he's not a point guard.
Okay.
No.
So who's a point guard for the Warriors?
He's good when you remove all the good point guards. I see.
No. He's not a point guard. To me, he's not a point guard. He's this new age.
So who's the point guard for the Warriors?
He's a shooting guard masquerading as a point guard. He's more like an Allen Iverson, more like a Dame Lillard, more like a Trae Young. They all in the same realm.
So who's the point guard for the Warriors?
I say Draymond Green do a lot of initiating of the offense.
So he's the point guard.
He's more like a point forward.
No. Who's the point guard?
No, he's more like a point forward. He's like
so they have no point guard. So they have no point guard.
He's like what Scottie Pippen was.
So they have no point guard. So they have no point guard. So they play without a point guard. They just play with 4 positions.
No, they play with all 5 positions. What I'm saying is,
so who's the point guard?
Forward. He's a point/forward. That's what he is.
But there's 5 positions on the basketball court. Point
guard, I get what you're saying.
And if Steph Curry's not the point guard, who is?
In a point guard position, yes, he's in a point guard position.
So he's a point guard.
All 5.
So he's a point guard. So he's a point guard.
No, he's not a point guard. He doesn't play like a point guard. He doesn't.
Well, okay, cool. So you called John Stockton a traditional point guard, correct?
Yes, he is. Yes, correct.
Who defines point guards in the traditional sense of whatever you're defining John Stockton as? Who made that the definition?
My traditional sense of point guard.
Who made it? Who
made that the definition? Who made that?
Well, it's not really a black and white definition of it. Really, I mean,
that's what you've just been given. That's what you've just been given.
But it's what the NBA used to have before they start going into this position.
Yeah, when did the NBA have it like that? When did that start?
Stuff started changing. I'm gonna say really probably about 2000 and like
2000.
No, that's when it changed. That's when it changed to what we have now. I'm saying when did the traditional point guard start? Who was the first traditional point guard?
Oh shoot, I'm gonna say my guy from the Celtics, Bob Cousy.
Okay, so Bob Cousy was a traditional point guard.
Yes.
How many traditional point guards are in the NBA
right now?
No, then how many point guards? How many point guards in the NBA played like Bob
18s back
Cousy?
then. It was only 18s back then.
How many point guards in the NBA played like Bob Cousy?
Oh, okay. Oh, overall that I can think of. Oh, you got guys like John Stockton. You got guys like Matt.
No. Back in the 60s.
Back then, how many played
back
like
in the 60s? Oh,
yeah.
shoot.
I think that's an unfair. That's a
No,
In order for something to be traditional, it has to be done by the majority of people. That's how it had to have started.
But Bob Cousy was the standard of how a traditional point guard.
No, he was the standard of being the best point guard. Cool, but traditional would mean that is what the majority of people are doing.
Thank you.
That would make it traditional. Okay, so that means at least four of those teams.
Name
so
the
you got Bob
guards in the
Cousy,
50s and 60s who were playing like
you
that.
got Bob Cousy, and I'll give you Oscar Robertson. In the 60s, how many players?
Say Oscar Robertson.
Because he was a scoring guard, but he facilitated the offense.
He was averaging 30.
Yeah,
so
because he was very
Oscar
good.
Robertson was more like a combo guard.
Okay, so who
then I tried to give you Oscar. Okay, carry on.
Who were the guards that set the tradition?
Yeah,
that's what
I'm trying to say.
Who
in
are
order
those
for
guards?
something to be traditional, you have to have it be the norm and the majority of people do it.
Well, if you want to put it like that, you got to have a norm to be traditional. I can agree with you on that. But John Stockton, hold on. John Stockton was the picture of how, to me, a traditional point guard should play when he have other talents, especially he had other talents around him. He got everybody involved, got everybody in the right spot. And then you start transitioning to other guys. You start transitioning to like guys like Magic, and then like Jason Kidd, Chris Paul of y'all era, Chris Paul. Those guys are traditional point guards. Now you can argue Chris Paul a little bit when he was with Charlotte. He was more of a scorer. He did score the ball a lot, but he did average like 9 assists.
How many all-time great traditional point guards are there? Like how many people is John Stockton beating out in this category?
How many has he beaten out as far as all time?
I say he's third all time.
But you're taking out Steph, you're taking out all these other like scoring guards. So like how many just traditional point guards he's making? Because if there's only like 12, like being top 3 of the
I don't get how you can be a traditional point guard if there's like 10 in the history of the game. It doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like the word traditional is being misused. Traditional would mean it's what the most people are doing throughout the history. That's a tradition.
Well, hold on, no.
It's not traditional. It's just how you want them to play.
Because that's not true. In the 90s, point guards wasn't taking 20 shots a game.
That's cool.
I'm not saying that you have 60s, but in the 60s they were though. So there's a time period before the 90s when these things were being established as quote unquote tradition. There were guards such as Jerry West and Oscar Robertson, Walt Frazier, Tiny Archibald. There were other guards before we got to Stockton and Magic who were volume scorers.
So I'm saying is John Stockton has to be the one who either started the tradition, which is you're just giving him a mantle that for some reason I don't know why, because there's no way the tradition either started with John Stockton, or if you're saying it goes throughout history, he's not traditional.
It's one or the other. It started with Magic Johnson and John Stockton and Mark Price and all those guys. It started in the 80s and 90s, the 2000s, and enhanced that because Andre Miller, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash.
But Dub, you can't then say it's tradition when there's like 2 or 3 decades before Magic Johnson. There's so many other players before them that actually set the tone of what it's supposed to be.
Magic and John did set the tone for a traditional point guard.
You can't stop saying tradition.
The same way Steph Curry.
Wait, stop.
Changed the tone for the moderator. The same way Stockton and Magic Johnson changed it.
I'm answering the question for you guys because you keep asking where did the tradition come from. So I'm just clarifying for you guys.
No, I get.
Magic Johnson
we
and
know,
Johnson
but what we're saying
were the
is that
people that clarified that.
Yeah, that's fine. But what we're saying is it's not tradition. If tradition in my family was every Christmas we get together and we sing Merry Christmas and open presents on Christmas Day, and then for a 5-year stretch I decide, hey, we're actually gonna do Christmas on New Year's. And then I all of a sudden say, no, that's our tradition, is New Year's. That does not usurp the other 20 years that led up to me right now. You are sitting here claiming that there are decades of point guards that existed before John Stockton and Magic Johnson who were doing things that you're now claiming is, oh, that's different, that's weird. No, it's not. It's how they played from the jump. From the beginning of basketball as the NBA as we know it, you had Jerry West, you had Oscar Robertson, you had Tiny Archibald, you had Walt Frazier, you had point guards who were volume scorers. They existed throughout NBA history. Furthermore, John Stockton and all that other traditional point guard logic, really outside of Magic, those are traditional losers. You lose basketball games that way.
So Lo, to clarify why the tradition came, I mean, we have to understand that NBA, it began in the 50s and 60s, and I think it really got big in the 80s, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, correct? So things and traditions and definitions were being established around that time. So they were just establishing the tradition. You feel me?
You mean in the 80s? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, mainly in the 80s, they were establishing terms and definitions for things. So they started that traditional point guard role. They did start that in the 80s, and they tried to make that more traditional through the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, even somewhat to the 2010s. Then that started getting changed toward the mid 2010s with Kyrie's coming in, Dame Lillard's, and Stephen Curry.
Those players
You feel what I'm saying?
No, because Kevin Johnson existed in the 90s. Kevin Johnson was somebody who was averaging 20 plus points on a night-to-night basis. So like even then, Fat Lever also existed. He was another volume scoring point guard. Volume scoring point guards always existed. They've always existed.
True. They did exist, true. But when you start going to like the 80s, 90s, like in that 20-year period right there, in that 80s, 90s, 20-year period, guys right up in that area, they were not allowed to shoot the ball at a high clip. I'm talking about for the most part. They weren't allowed to shoot the ball at high because you had your wing players that was dominating. You had your small forwards and your shooting guards that was dominating. And then you had to feed the guy down low in the post. You had to feed the big man. But yes, you're right. You're right. Jerry West was a scoring guard, just like a Steph Curry. You got Fat Lever. You got guys like the guy from the New York Knicks when they won a couple titles.
Walt
Frazier. Yes. You are correct. But what I'm gonna say for the most part, when I started watching basketball back in like maybe 2 years after Jordan got drafted, I'm from Chicago. I started watching like 2 years after he got drafted. Up in that time period, within that 20 something years, guys just wasn't allowed to shoot the ball like that anymore. They start kind of like making guys be able to have a traditional role, like you a power forward, you a center, you a small forward, you a shooting guard, you a point guard. Now we want you to play the game like you. I remember when White Chocolate came in, Jason Williams, and he wanted to do all that shooting threes from the parking lot, right? Sacramento traded him because he wouldn't switch up his game. He refused to switch up his game and not really run the offense, so they traded him, and they brought Mike Bibby in because they said Mike Bibby was a more of a traditional type point guard that was going to get guys involved. It was not going to break the offense, right? To do all the little circuit stuff. Jason Williams would have did better in this era. He would have did phenomenal in this era.
And that's fine. All that is fine. What I'm saying though is that you're just picking and choosing where you're starting. Like NBA history determine what's traditional or not. Still,
it's from what you grew up on. That's it.
It's just what you grew up on.
Is what you grew up on.
And that's why
that's
not
the tradition of the NBA. That's the tradition of what you saw.
That's
no, traditions are what you grow up on, right?
Your tradition, yes. The tradition of the NBA isn't what you first saw.
I'm gonna say the tradition of the position. No,
and then also was set when the league started.
That's why this title for this I'm about to say space. This live stream is what it is because the old media just lies to y'all. That was not a tradition. There were other volume scoring point guards in NBA history. It just so happened that there was a stretch where they decided to change from that because there was overwhelmingly dominant. We had a better understanding how basketball was going to be played. And so there was an overwhelmingly more dominant figure in the league throughout the 80s and 90s, and that was the big man. So it just made more sense to feed it off to him. However, if you were on a team that didn't feature that, like the Pistons, you were going to have guards who were going to lead the team in scoring because that was best beneficial for your team. I nor anybody really should subscribe to this ideology of somebody being placed in this position so they have to play this certain type of way. Because by that logic, LeBron is not a traditional small forward. Dirk Nowitzki is not a traditional power forward. Jokic is not a traditional center. There's a lot of players who don't play traditional throughout NBA history.
Well, you got outliers. You do have outliers.
It's not outliers.
It's not an outlier. If we're getting to a point where John Stockton, we're getting to a point where actually John Stockton is not an outlier now.
Yes.
That's what we're getting to.
Well, a guy that's 7 feet tall that handle the ball and be out there on the perimeter shooting threes like that, that was an outlier.
That
not what
guy
we're
was an
talking about,
outlier.
though.
Usually that guy be down low, being a bruiser, scoring down with his back behind the basket. With his back.
Okay, hold on.
You still? Oh, go ahead, Ozzy. You got it.
You're saying in that era that John Stockton and the Magic Johnsons, they were considered more valuable, or the typical point guard. Right now, in the modern day, the more valuable point guard are point guards who are high volume scorers. Look at the best point guards in the league: Luka, Curry, Ja, Trae Young. All of them are more valuable than guys like Tyrese Halliburton because they score the ball. So how can you say players like Stephen Curry and Oscar Robinson aren't traditional point guards when it's changed to the point where it's more valuable to be a volume scorer than a passer? You're saying that they should switch up their game and pass the ball more so they can be a traditional point guard?
No, I'm not saying.
Stockton definitely didn't win like that.
I'm not saying
Stockton didn't win like that.
Nobody, none of them did except for Magic.
But it's a lot
Stockton
of guys.
didn't win like that.
None of them won like that except for Magic.
It's nothing traditional. It's nothing traditional about not shooting enough or not being able to shoot. That's basically what the traditional point guard is. A guard that's going to be passing the ball first because they either don't shoot enough or they can't shoot. Like Rondo, he couldn't shoot. Stockton didn't shoot enough. Had he shot a little bit more, then Stockton probably may have won the championship, but he didn't. So I don't see why we even talking about Stockton and Magic Johnson in the same sentence. Because Magic Johnson came in the league winning championships and is a proven playoff performer and has way more 20 and 30-point games and triple doubles than Stockton can ever dream of. So
I can argue this too, that a lot of these guys shooting the ball the way they shooting the ball, these little guys, how many of these little guys are going to win championships doing that? Now,
if you look throughout history, all of the greatest guards, all the greatest guards in history are hybrid guards.
All these guys is shooting the ball at a high clip, like a Trae Young, Dame Lillard. I know Steph Curry. Yeah, he was able to be successful. But Steph Curry did have Klay Thompson, a big time wing on his team that was really, really good shooter. So
you can't make that point. You can't make that point.
But John Stockton wasn't successful either.
Even if we go by the traditional point guards, the only traditional point guards that won in NBA history is Magic and then maybe Isaiah Thomas.
And Magic's the biggest outlier we've ever seen. He's a 6'9" guy running the point. We're talking about outliers like Dirk Nowitzki. Magic Johnson's a clear outlier.
Magic averaged over 20 during his prime.
Magic Johnson's like the clearest outlier we've ever seen.
The point guard argument is such an outdated argument, and I can't believe people are still making this.
Hey, look, if you don't want to
point guard.
If you want to say traditional is the wrong way to say it.
We could just say facilitator.
I think we could change it. First. We were saying this is pass.
Just say facilitator. I think facilitator is a better definition.
A point guard that passes more than he shoots.
He's just a pass first guard.
John Stockton is not overrated as a point guard. John Stockton, not only did he play high-level offense efficiently, because the man shot the ball very, very well. He didn't shoot a whole lot. Maybe he took like 12 or 13 shots a game.
And that's why I said if he would have shot more, he probably would have won.
He hit like 9 of them. He had like 15 assists. He had like 4 or 5 steals. That man played on both sides.
He'll keep losing games.
He played on both sides. No, the reason why the Utah Jazz lost games, in my opinion, they didn't have enough outside of Karl Malone and John Stockton.
And that's a lie.
They didn't. No,
that is a lie. That is
okay.
A
So
lie.
hold on. Tell me on their team, on that Utah team, who they had on their team that was surrounded with them, that had a nice cast around them that you could say, okay, that's a team that I think they can win a championship.
They had Dale Griffin. They had Dale Griffin, Adrian Dantley some years. They had Mark Eaton as well. Jeff Malone,
yeah.
They had those guys when Karl Malone was still a baby when they had those guys.
No, that's wrong again.
Yes, he was.
In 1990,
they was in the playoffs every year, and they were the top 4 seed
in 1991. No. In 1991, when Karl Malone was 27 and Stockton was 28, those are grown fucking men. Jeff Malone, Mark.
How many years did they have in the
Bailey.
league? How many years did they have in the league at that point? 4 or 5?
No, Malone was drafted in 85 or something like that.
Malone was drafted in.
Yeah, Malone was 85.
85.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. There were 6 years in the league.
Okay, so let's say this. So how old was Andrew Dantley at that time?
Danley wasn't on that team. Jeff Malone was 29.
Yeah, I know Jeff Malone was a pretty good player.
Thurl Bailey was 29, and Mark Eaton was in his 30s.
Okay, yeah, well, Mark Eaton was towards the end, right? So
Mark Eaton was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
I get it, but he was towards the end. I mean, he
still won Defensive Player of the Year in a year.
I get it, but I'm saying he was towards the end, so they didn't play with him a whole lot. They didn't play with Mark Eaton a whole lot, right? No. Maybe 1 or 2 years.
They were still in the playoffs with chances to go to the finals.
Mark Eaton was there when Karl Malone got drafted.
Mark Eaton spent every year of his career in Utah.
Yeah, Mark Eaton was there when Karl Malone got drafted. He was there for like 8 years.
He was there from 83 to 93. What are you talking about?
Okay, so he played 5 years with Mark Eaton.
He played like
he played.
Okay.
He played more than 5 years with Mark Eaton.
He played more. He played
like nearly a decade.
Okay, good. He played 5 years with Mark Eaton.
No, like 7, 8, 9, 10
The Utah Jazz roster relative to the other guy, the other team's roster, you have to put that into effect too. You can't just say
even if we name me the team. I want you to name me these teams that had a Defensive Player of the Year candidate and recipient who had one of the best power forwards or one of the best players at their position in Karl Malone, another player that you are claiming is one of the best players at his position in John Stockton, and 2 other double-digit scorers on their team. Name me those teams.
So name you the 2 teams that had a Defensive Player of the Year, top power forward and top point guard, right?
And 2 other 10 double-digit scorers.
Okay, so hold on. Okay.
And the Hall of Fame coach. And the Hall of Fame coach.
And a coach that put him in the system that worked.
And the Hall of Fame coach.
Okay. So back then, I'm gonna say the Rockets were still good.
Kenny Smith. No,
the Rockets were still good.
We gonna move on.
Hold on. The Rockets were still good. Go ahead. The Lakers are still there. I believe at that time Dallas still had a talented team back then too. They had Blackman, they had Orlando Blackman. They had that center. Hold on.
You're just naming players who are not of the.
They had this guy that was very talented center.
I'm gonna say one more time. Name me the team that had 2 top players in their positions and a Defensive Player of the Year recipient and 2 other double-digit.
So you saying just because you have that, you're gonna win a championship?
Nigga, you just sat there and said the competition is relative to who they're facing. And
I said you got to look at the competition that was relative to who they were facing.
Okay, their team was more talented than everybody else.
How are they teams? So it was more talented.
I just said it.
It was more talented than the Lakers.
Hey, we're gonna.
Than the Lakers. It was more talented than the Lakers.
We're gonna. No. We gotta. What the hell is going on?
Oh wait,
they were more talented than the Lakers.
Let me say one more. Okay,
go ahead. I'm asking.
After 91,
once you lose Magic, so like 92, 93, 94,
after 91, there was nobody else on that team, bro.
Ozzy, go ahead.
The Portland Trailblazers still had a nice team.
We gotta keep it going. We gotta
wasn't talented.
Wait, hold up. We gotta keep it going. Ozzy, what you got?
Okay. You say that the reason the Jazz didn't win is because their team wasn't good enough. That's not true. And then you say it's because the other teams in the league were so much better than the Jazz or had way
I didn't say
better
so much better.
Oh, okay. You said they had better rosters.
You got to look at the teams that was relative to their talent. You got to look at the other teams.
I mean, by your admission, the Jazz had the best point
guard.
So
by your admission, you call Stockton a top 3 point guard of all time, and Karl Malone is probably
that's over. Hold on, top 3 point guard over a career. Over a career, he's a top. He finishes his career as a top 3 point guard.
So where was he in the 90s? So in the 90s, where was he?
He'd have to have been the best point guard because Isaiah was gone.
You still had Mark Price. You still had
Isaiah was done in like 92, right?
You had Magic. You had
in the 90s.
John Stockton was top 5. He was top.
Magic was done after Magic was done after 91. Isaiah was done after 92.
In the 90s.
Okay. My fault. In the 90s, I have to say him and Gary Payton.
All right, so he's a top 2 point guard.
Yeah.
In the 90s,
him and Gary Payton.
What was Karl Malone as a power forward?
He had to be 2 behind Charles, or he was fight for 2. One A and 1 B.
All right, go ahead.
1 A and 1 B.
Okay. So Stockton in the league's a top 2 or 3 point guard. Same with Malone and power forwards. And you got a pretty good team around you and an all-time coach. You say the reason they didn't win is because that team wasn't good. That's not true.
No. I ain't say it wasn't good.
Let me finish. I could flip it around on you and say the reason that team didn't win any NBA championships is because Stockton wasn't a reliable second option. He passed the ball too much, and you can say that he shot efficiently, but he not once in his career or the playoffs averaged over 20 points per game. So I could say the reason that team wasn't that much successful is because he wasn't a good enough scorer or didn't try.
No. Okay, so you said they got a Hall of Fame coach, right? You said they had a Hall of Fame coach, right? But that was Jerry Sloan's system that made him not shoot the ball like that. That was Jerry Sloan's system that he put in place that he didn't want John Stockton to shoot all them shots. So that was his system.
Williams came in and averaged 20.
Was a Hall of Fame
Darren
coach.
Williams
He
came
put
in and
the
averaged
system
20.
in. He put the system
Darren
in.
Williams came in and averaged 20.
And if
he put the system.
Not only that,
If it's the coach that made John Stockton play like that, then it makes no sense to call him traditional.
So you're arguing against yourself. If it was a
he didn't have Karl Malone on his team.
If it was a coach in the system that made him play like that, that means that takes away further from him. And secondly, if John Stockton is not intelligent enough to understand when to take advantages of take advantage of disadvantages that are on the court, and he needs the coach to hold his hand and say, "Hey, you have an advantage, or you not take advantage of it." If he's that dense, then it's even worse. That
no.
That's kind of nasty.
No. You can't sit up here and tell me that a guy, when a coach put in a certain system that wants you to play a certain way, you can't sit up here and tell me that you can usurp the coach every time you go down the court and say, well, you know what?
If it deems necessary, yes. Yes,
last point,
that's not what the system called for. That's not what the system called for. Have you ever played professional? Have you played something in high school?
The Warriors played the same system that they always. The Warriors played the same system that they always did in the finals, or did Curry acknowledge that, hey, man, there was an acknowledgement that they're playing me in a way in which it'll be advantageous for this team's success that I become a more predominant scorer on ball.
No, Curry has always shot the ball a lot. More than John Stockton.
All right, bro.
You're
not answering my questions. You're not answering my questions.
But you talking about it's apples and oranges. You telling me
there's players in NBA history who deviate from the system all the time.
And Wayne, last point.
You telling me a player that had more of a green light to shoot the ball versus another player who had a top scorer on his team who he was giving the ball to Karl Malone just about every time down the court.
And that's another reason.
That's excellent playmaking, I guess.
That's even more. That's another reason why he
Listen. We're gonna get into the super chat from Richie TV. I did not forget about this. So, what shooting guard can take LaMelo Ball game to the next level and become a 1-2 duo?
None.
It's not shooting. They need a big.
They need a big.
Michael Jordan.
James Wiseman. Get James Wiseman to Charlotte.
James
Wiseman to Charlotte will solve so many problems.
Oh my God.
For Golden State.
So wait, you guys don't think that LaMelo Ball could be the second best player on the championship team?
No, it's specifically a guard.
Right now?
No.
God.
Yeah, he could be a number two, like a big
offensively,
but a 1-2 in terms of a backcourt. I'm not liking the look of that. Like a Bradley Beal, I don't like a LaMelo Ball Bradley Beal combination.
So who can you pair? Who can you? Yeah, go ahead, Ozzy. Who can you pair LaMelo with?
I think if you put LaMelo with a player like AD, I think that'd be very successful. And I think that'd be a really good top two. You obviously need a team around it, or like Giannis. But I agree. Like, because LaMelo is a good enough facilitator and a good enough scorer that you don't necessarily need a shooting guard to help him out. That's kind of what we're seeing in Atlanta with Trey and DeJounte. You'd rather want probably not a wing, but rather a big man to be that number one option, and then LaMelo to be able to feed him the rock.
Kane or H2 Mass, you guys got anything to say?
You say what now?
You guys got anything to comment about?
I would say, well, the first thing I wanted to say is I don't think that Steph Curry is better than Magic Johnson, but that was 2 segments ago, so we're going to let that go. Anyway, as far as LaMelo Ball, like y'all said, these point guards that can handle the ball and shoot and score, they need more of a catch and shoot, Klay Thompson kind of shooting guard next to him. And sometimes they need a big man, but a lot of times they need that other big wing that can initiate the offense. And I think that's a lot of teams miss that. And that's what make a lot of teams lose out in the playoffs when they don't have that extra wing that can initiate the offense and be dynamic when they also have that great point guard.
Well, can LaMelo Ball be a second best player? I presume he can, but I don't trust Michael Jordan to put the team together. Like to me, Michael Jordan is the best player to ever play the game, but he doesn't have his finger on the pulse of putting a team together or drafting well. He got LaMelo Ball. That was a good pick, but his other picks with Morris and all them guys, Michael Kidd, Gilchrist, and all them other guys, I don't trust Michael Jordan putting a team together. So would they ever put a team? I see LaMelo Ball leaving. I mean, that's what I see. I see the man leaving when his contract probably is up. Maybe he may sign an extension because the money may be too much to pass up. But I really do see LaMelo Ball leaving Charlotte. I don't see LaMelo Ball staying in Charlotte. I mean,
LaMelo a big market team. He gonna end up on the big market team.
Yeah, for sure. He's a big market player, 100%.
Boy, the Lakers, they got 1 point, literally.
How far into the game?
Yeah, nearly the 9-minute mark. In 3 minutes, they've only scored one.
Why don't the Lakers just go ahead and trade Anthony Davis right now while his stock is up right now? Just go.
That's what I'm saying. Anthony
Davis trade the man right now.
Exactly.
Bro, what? Yo,
trade him and get who though?
James Wiseman.
I believe they trade Anthony Davis to the right team. They can probably poach some draft picks, probably get a prominent player, and maybe get a bench player.
But while you got LeBron James, you got to win now.
No, trade LeBron James too. Trade LeBron James too, man. Because I'm gonna tell you the reason why you should trade LeBron James too. You got a team that's around LeBron James right now that's not conducive to his skill set. They don't have catch and shoot players, right? We know LeBron James needs a lot of spacing. He needs a catch and shoot. He needs catch and shoot 3-point players. He needs perimeter guys that's going to play defense so he can take some of the onus off of him of playing defense because he's clearly declined as far as his thing to get up and just win games constantly throughout the week. You can get a great game with LeBron James once in a week, but you can't get it 2 and 3 times. That's why he needs, if you're going to keep Anthony Davis, they still don't have the shooting. So now you're just wasting his last couple of years just sitting there waiting for him to break the Kareem record within the Lakers uniform. That's the only reason why they're not trading him, because they want that record to be broken in LA. I get that for the marketing purposes, but I'm talking about for a long-term team success. You got to trade him, package him with Russell Westbrook, because you can't get rid of Russell Westbrook by himself. So package LeBron and Russell Westbrook together and trade AD.
That's like $80 million.
Yeah, they're not going to. They like, probably financially speaking, no team is going to be able to do that. But
hey, H2 Mass, what you got to say, brother?
I've never got anything to say.
Oh wow,
he's here for vibes.
Fire. Hey, listen, appreciate you guys for joining the show. Everybody, like the video on your way out, bro. 400 people in here. There's no reason why the locks didn't hit 300 likes, bro. I'm watching y'all. Well, y'all be easy, bro. Appreciate the vibes. Low.
He's Santa Claus, man. He's watching.
Are we done? Damn.
Yeah, we all be easy. Going
I
on
might
3
have
hours.
my stream then.
Low.